Shut up. The tape. The tape. Let's go. The tape. We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape,
Let's
bro.
grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the
The
tape.
tape. The tape. Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape,
The
bro.
tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting. Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape,
The
bro.
tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fine Wednesday evening. We got an absolutely loaded show for you as always. It's Wednesday, so it's a what if Wednesday around here. Last week of assumptions in college football. You either gonna find out about your football team this weekend, or you gonna have a long stretch of finding out about your football team after this weekend. Who's next to have their seat get heated up in college football? It was Kalen DeBoer week 1. It was Billy Napier in week 2. Who's on the borderline, on verge of, hey, is this our guy? Are we sure about this guy today or at this position for this football program? We also have our keys to the key matchups in or and around college football this weekend. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Let's get to work. I want to go ahead and start tonight's show with who's got more to lose, right? Some big time premier matchups this weekend in college football featuring what we think are potential college football playoff teams, all right? Let's start in South Bend, Indiana, boys, as Texas A&M heads up there to take on Notre Dame. I think this one's easy with regards to who's got more to lose in this matchup. It's the team who's 0-1 facing 0-2 with the loss in this matchup. Yep. And not to mention, guys, Notre Dame's in big time trouble if they lose this game this weekend. They don't have a currently ranked opponent on their future schedule. All right, they're 2 big games. They're 2 premier opportunities for a keynote win are right here, weeks 1 and weeks 3 for them, games 1 and games 2 after a bye from licking their wounds down there in Miami. I told you guys before the show, and I truly believe this is almost like a College World Series baseball game when you're in the losers bracket right here for this football program. All right, and they have to approach it that way with their quarterback situation in particular. If the starter goes out there and gets shelled, we got to go to the bullpen. We can't wait around and hope he figures it out. No. We got our season, our playoff line, our opportunity for a playoff is on the line most likely this weekend, because I don't know if 10-2 gets it done with the rest of their slate, boys.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, like you just said, other than hoping and praying that USC at some point is a ranked team by the time you get there.
Yeah, you got to hope USC wins out, period, at this point.
Right, because other than that, it's not a very strong schedule. And if you look at it, it's like, man, you lost to all the teams that had a pulse this year. Notre Dame isn't a playoff team. And I think that the win against Texas A&M last year in Kyle Field was what really bolstered their strength of schedule for a long time, to the point where it ultimately got them in the playoff, because that NIU loss was very bad, and it took them a long time to shake the stink of that.
Yeah, I think you could somewhat make the argument for Texas A&M a little bit, because if you lose this game, then it kind of feels like you're back to where you were. But it's also year 2 of Mike Elko, so you have to remember that as well going into here. Of it maybe isn't fair to just say that Texas A&M should be a playoff team this year, just even because it's year 2 of Mike Elko. I think it absolutely is Notre Dame, because of the points that you guys are making of what the rest of the schedule is. And let's remember too, like, people walked into this offseason, or were walking into the season saying, this Notre Dame schedule, man, this isn't no cupcake walk. This is one of the more difficult schedules they've had. And it has 2 ranked teams on it right now, unless USC finds their way into the top 25. And so if we're sitting here saying that this is one of the tougher schedules, 10-2 might not be enough to get them in the playoff. Probably wasn't that tough of a schedule to begin with.
Because they don't have an opportunity to lean on a conference championship game. This has to be a top 12 ranking for them, really top 11, because we don't know what USF ultimate ranking at the end of the year is going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a top 11 program for us right now, but who knows what it's ultimately going to be at the end of the year. So they kind of have to be a good, strong 11-1, or man, they lost it close 10-2, and A&M's really, really good, and Miami's really, really good. Mm-hmm. And oh, by the way, USC was a 9-3 program, and they knocked them off late. They're kind of dependent upon everyone else at this point with their schedule. Do you agree, Kirby? Or is 10-2 at Notre Dame automatic top 12? I don't think it is.
Absolutely not. I mean, we were looking at 11-1 last year and going, really? Are we going to put that in? They played 4 ranked teams last year. They had the
catastrophic NIU loss made us look like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that, and I mean, but it's still valid. But Navy was ranked last year when you play them. That's not going to be the case. Army was ranked last year when you play them. Probably not going to happen for either of those teams. Louisville was ranked, and they did beat them. So they had 4 ranked wins last season, which really helped their case. But you go 0-2 against the ranked teams, and maybe 1-2 if USC backdoors their way. It's not a good look for Notre Dame.
All right, let's move on to another keynote matchup in Baton Rouge. All right, as the Florida Gators head to town. I think it's an easy one for me, but both these teams are fighting for something, okay? Mm-hmm. Florida is fighting to compete for their football coach. We're going to find out whether or not they're ready to kick the can on Billy Napier as a roster, or whether or not they're going to be ready to fight for their football coach. They showed tremendous fight late in the year last year, ultimately to save his job. That's what they're fighting for. But LSU is fighting for a playoff contention and what they think to be a national title football program. That quarterback thinks that. Those roster management decisions this offseason told me that about their window, right? They know what it is. They got a great quarterback they're trying to push now. So what you can't have is letdown losses like Brian Kelly tends to always have. Games where we think you're going to win at home, and then all of a sudden you get donkey slapped out of nowhere. Can't have it, especially can't have it this weekend against Florida. It's a massive program week for LSU.
Not only that, this is the longest LSU fans have gone under Brian Kelly in thinking we have a national championship team.
Yeah.
It's always been, can we pick up the pieces after week 1? You won your week 1 game. You're 2-0 right now. You're a top 5 team. You're ranked inside the top 3. If you come into this game and stumble against a Florida team that is down bad right now, you're going to go right back to square one with Brian Kelly, where is this the guy? Can he win the big game? Do we have the right answer? I don't think it puts him on the hot seat, but he certainly gets rough looks after that.
Yeah, knowing what LSU has done under Brian Kelly, like down the stretch of seasons, this is one that you can't afford to lose, because this feels like one that you absolutely should win, all things considered, with Florida right now. I think there is an avenue that this game could go for Florida, though, to where it puts them in a position, but I actually will save that take for a little bit later in the show. But LSU, absolutely, you got to continue to ride this momentum and continue, because people are saying you're the best team in the SEC right now. That's something that you need to continue to ride out throughout the rest of the year, in my opinion. Keep building up as much momentum as possible, then also give yourself as much of a safety net as you can for the back half of the schedule.
Yeah, not only that, for Florida, people have kind of already written you off. Everyone's talking about Billy Napier's fired at the end of this season. We thought, you might have been a playoff team, but after this week, after the USF loss, we're writing them off. No one thinks anything of them. So at the end of the day, I don't think losing to LSU, a top 3 team, is going to be that damning for Billy Napier.
Do I have Friday morning available? 9 a.m. Check that. Did you know that Florida hasn't beaten LSU in Baton Rouge since Tim Tebow was their quarterback?
I believe it. They don't play
particularly well out there.
Yeah, and they don't.
Anthony Richardson gave him a sweat a couple years ago, but that was about it.
Yeah.
That was Is Anthony Richardson the guy game? Wasn't he splitting time at that point? It was close towards the end of that season, wasn't it?
That was the back end of the 2021 season. No, that might have been 2022. I can't remember, honestly.
I can't either. I just remember Anthony Richardson going off for like 48 and they scored 55. So yeah, very interesting matchup out there. Hey, who's got more to lose in this Vandy versus South Carolina football game, Christian?
So it's weird to think about.
Felt weird calling you Christian just now.
It's all right.
Really
I mean, that is my name. So
yeah, it's true.
It's weird to think about because obviously South Carolina is the top 10 team here. If you lose this game to an unranked Vanderbilt, it's a really bad look for you. It really hinders your college football playoff hopes. But on the flip side of this, Vanderbilt has got so much momentum right. I would argue there is more momentum around the Vanderbilt football program than there has maybe ever been. Maybe not after the win after Alabama, but consistently heading into the season and actually living up to the hype like, hey, this might be a top 15 team right now. I don't think we've seen that around Vanderbilt since the James Franklin era. So to lose this game, that would be catastrophic, I think. So I'm kind of leaning Vanderbilt on this, but the obvious and more pronounced answer for me would be South Carolina because you are a top 10 team that expects to make the college football playoff this year. And with that schedule, you can't really accept the loss to Vanderbilt.
Here's the deal, and here's why it's South Carolina every year, because football is football and fans are fans. If you're the head football coach of South Carolina and you lose a home game against Vanderbilt as a top 12 ranked football team, they're going to look at you real funny. If you're the head football coach at Vanderbilt and you lose to South Carolina on the road as a top 12 and a 6-point underdog, you're Vanderbilt's football coach. So for that point alone, it's probably South Carolina who has more to lose from a general standpoint. And look, we know how, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to Pavia, all right, and them boys out there with them Commodores, but that's just general college football fandom, all right? The 60% of South Carolina football fans who just watch them on Saturdays, because that's honest to God how most fandom is, depending on, no matter how locked in your fan base is, most of the people who wearing the logos and buying the merch just watch them on Saturdays, get mad or happy depending on the outcome, and then go home. Them people don't know that Vanderbilt's scrappy. Them people don't know. They know Vanderbilt went 7-5 last year. They don't know this. They don't know that Vanderbilt just out here dubbed up South Virginia Tech at a worse rate than you did on the road, not a neutral site field. All right, so they don't know that. For that purpose alone, it's probably Shane Beamer. But here's why it's probably Vanderbilt. All right, if you are who you say you are, Diego Pavia, if y'all are who you say you are, South Carolina is just a notch on the belt. All right, because y'all got the rest of the SEC gauntlet coming your way like everybody else does. Okay, so if you are claiming to be a national, like this bar is national title, all right, if you're out here running it up on Virginia Tech, getting the backup some burn for future reference like for your program's references, like, dude, you got to go on the road to Bama. You got LSU, you got Mizzou, you got at Texas, you got Auburn, you got Kentucky, you got at Tennessee. Like, this is the least of your worries with regards to the rest of your schedule. So if you're not 6-6 Vandy, you better knock this one off because the rest of it looks like 6-6 Vandy. So for that standpoint, I think Vandy's got a little bit more at risk. These boys are over here breaking news on the SEC injury report that just came out. We're going to give you some of the injury report news that came out of that. But I've got something else, all right, that I want to talk about while the boys are working over there, other than this fly that keeps landing on my leg underneath the desk. Do you have any news that needs to be hit right now? Are you typing away? Type away. I got ISO.
I mean, I'm good. I
want ISO. Let's ISO.
You want it?
Yeah. Hey, I told y'all about white boy Coy out there at where he playing? Minnesota. I told y'all about Coy Parrish. All right, the dude that was playing safety and wide receiver this year for Minnesota. Told you about him in the spring because I did some reading and saw he was out here in a split jersey. They had him in a half offense, half defense practice jersey made just for my boy Coy. All right, he's not the only one. This Travis Hunter epidemic is starting. People saw it. It can be done. They know it now can be done. So it ain't just the man Coy out there in Minnesota, guys. There's a dude speaking of Vanderbilt that's doing it from Rome, Georgia. All right, my man Martell Height, for whatever reason, my football brain wants to tell me Darnell Wright every time Martell Height's name comes to my brain. But no, number 4 from Vandy, playing a little bit of defensive back, playing a little bit of wide receiver. It can be done. It's being done all over college football. There's a Utah running back who also starts at corner for them. It's going to be happening more at a more and more higher pace rate in college football, and it should, because we have high schoolized this sport left and right. We have high schoolized the offenses. We have high schoolized the defenses. 3-3-5s coming all over the sport of football, right? RPOs, spread offenses. Where did you think that started? That started in high school. So why can't we high schoolize the sport? I thought Andy Kotelenecki did this great last year at Penn State. Yeah, dude, make your whole offense about Tyler Warren. He's your best player. Do whatever you need to do. To hell with the first round quarterback that people think is talented. Just high schoolize your offense. Feature him. Well, if he's, 60% better than everybody else on the defensive side of the football too, why not just play him there? Especially as we start paying these athletes more and more and more and more. All right? If you got a defensive back that is 20% of your roster, 15% of your salary cap, whatever it may be, 10% of your salary cap. Why not get that dude some touches on offense every once in a while? I think it's going to happen more and more around college football, boys.
Oh, it seems to be once Travis Hunter started doing it, not only was it becoming something that other teams are trying, but it was promises that teams were making to kids to make sure that they stayed at certain programs. Like, I remember there were multiple SEC teams that it was kind of floated around like, oh, this player is going to be playing both ways for their football program this year. And that was kind of one of the reasons why they're sticking around there, because that was a promise. It's like, it's become a selling point for some kids.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Hunter made it a phenomenon. We've seen players kind of do the two-way things before, not to the degree he did, but Jabril Peppers, Miles Jack, Champ Bailey in the 90s. Like, there have been numerous instances of players that play both ways on the field, but I think Travis Hunter is the first one to kind of, I don't want to say make it cool, but that's kind of what he did. He made it trendy. He won a Heisman doing it. So now you see all these high school kids that are very influential in growing up and watching that. They also think they can do it because they are athletic enough. So I think it is something you're going to see more of.
All right. Jonathan and I were having a discussion earlier today. I mean, apart from Georgia and Tennessee and, the few examples like Oklahoma and Michigan and Alabama's been punched in the mouth, but most of the people listening tonight, whatever your favorite football team is, you probably haven't been through a war yet, and you about to go through several of them. Jonathan, you had a good point today.
Yeah, I think that this is the last week that we're going to be really talking about assumptions for football teams, because next week it ramps up for everybody. Everybody's entering conference play next week, and from next week until late November, I mean, it's nothing but that. It's nothing but big tests for football teams. It's nothing more than we're gaining information on every single team, and we know for a fact who you are, or at least week by week, we're knowing more and more who you are as a football team. What is the trajectory of your program after this, and where can we respectfully place you in these rankings? Like, what do we need to view you? Like, are you actually a playoff contender? Like, do we need to continue to view you as that? Like, I think especially for a team like Florida State, like, they beat Alabama and it was a dominant win for them, but we still sit here and say we don't really know what to do with them or how to place them or like what they're going to do in conference play. Like, is this going to continue for them, or do they just get it on the right day against Alabama? Like, things like that. We're going to be able to have like very strict conversations about programs, and we get a lot more clarity.
Yeah, mid-October to that early November is always, I feel like, the best college football of the year, because, yeah, as exciting as the week 1 matchups are, as exciting as these week 2 matchups can be sometimes, the week 2 upsets, I feel like we get through the first 2 or 3 games of the season going, I think so-and-so is a good team. I think so-and-so is this. I think so-and-so is that. Like, we were all like, I think Ohio State's really good, but it could also be Texas and Arch Manning are good. I think Tennessee's very good, but it could also be they played 2 very bad teams. Like, there's a lot of I thinks. It seems like after this week, there's going to be a much more I know, or I've seen enough to make a stance that feels educated.
I feel like I know about certain units. I don't think I know anything about any team yet.
That's fair.
I think I know Oregon's offense looks powerful. Mm-hmm. I think I know Ohio State and Georgia, or Texas's defenses and Georgia's defense is elite. I think I know Tennessee's playing confident right now, but I don't know. I think there's certain units that I think I know are really, really good, but I don't know anything about any teams just yet.
Yeah.
But we're about to start finding out.
I mean, really, even too, like the teams that have already played what we think are good teams, like LSU, Clemson automatically changed last week. Like as soon as those teams played in week 2, it somewhat changed. Now it didn't drastically change. Like it didn't go to the point where we were saying Clemson's no longer a playoff team. LSU maybe not as legit as we thought they were, but maybe that LSU win looks a little bit different now, or like maybe the trajectory of Clemson looks a little bit different now. Maybe they're not just going to walk through the ACC this year. Like, so even if you did have one of these big time matchups within the first 2 weeks, still don't really know where to place them yet.
We're going to talk about it a little bit later. We got a legitimate chance of Notre Dame and Clemson starting a combined 1-5, 1-4, a combined 1-4. Two football teams that I don't know about you. I don't want to speak for y'all. I thought they were going to not walk through the regular season, but I thought they were going to handle the regular season. They're both staring down. I mean, the lines in those games are shrinking in both matchups.
Yes, they are.
That's not ideal.
No, not at all.
So that's probably, if that ends up happening, I think that's one of the biggest storylines come Sunday. Not to do one of our segments of writing Sunday's headlines today, but if A&M beats Notre Dame and Georgia Tech beats Clemson,
shakes things up
tremendously.
And I think too, like, I think part of the reason why it feels like there's not a whole lot of clarity too right now is because I think one of the biggest pieces of conversation that everybody had this offseason, I mean everybody, we were doing it, and I think any other college football content creator was doing it as well, of really the only thing people were banking on for a lot of these teams is the quarterback play. Yeah, it was about Garrett Nussmeier. It was about Cade Klubnik. It was about Arch Manning. It was about DJ Lagway. It was about Lenore Sellers. It was about all those guys. Really, none of those guys have gotten off to this pristine start.
I mean, I think Nuss is playing the position well. I don't think the box score says that about him, but it's been a lot of bad quarterback play. I mean, we study it more than anybody else. I feel like we bring it to light more than anybody else. Apart from Aguilar and Mateer.
I mean, God.
And Mensah. Mensah's played well, statistically, looked well. Everything else around him is falling apart.
I mean, you got to throw Thomas Castellanos in there.
Castellanos has looked really comfortable in Malzahn's offense. So those are really the four. I'm sure we're missing somebody. There's probably somebody Taylor Green's balling right now.
He is playing well.
No duh. These are some like guys who have consistency. Pavia's playing well, has real consistency with their offensive coordinator, with the staff, with the system, whatever it may be. There's a repetitive theme here. Consistency off to a hot start.
Yeah.
But we need to start taking note of this for next year's preseason analysis, because it smacked us in the face here, guys.
Yeah.
Early on this year. I mean, we saw it in Michigan, Notre Dame, or Michigan, Oklahoma. Experience at the quarterback position definitely matters. We saw it in the first weekend matchup between Ohio State and Texas. Though neither of those quarterbacks had experience, it was everybody else around them who's the more dependable. That kind of stuff.
Yep.
All right. Last week of assumptions. Great segment there, Jonathan.
Appreciate it.
Who's on the hot seat next, guys? I think it's an interesting little conversation to be having, because last year we went in this region of the country for the first time in, I think, my lifetime.
First time I remember.
We went an entire year without tossing a coach to the wayside and firing their butt. So and it happened quickly. Week 1, everybody looking at Kalen DeBoer. I don't know if the seat's hot, but they lit the Brunson burner up underneath it. It's warming up. That's for damn sure.
Did you say the Brunson burner?
What is it?
It's a Bunsen burner.
Nah, it's a Brunson burner. It's a Jalen Brunson burner. They got the Brunson burner lit up. They got that Brunson burner lit up, all right, and that seat warming up. And down there in Florida, that seat hot. That ain't warming up. That seat's hot down there in Florida. So that's week 1. Week 2, who's it going to be in week 3? I got a keynote nomination. Nominee number 1, come on down, Luke Fickell. Ooh. Luke Fickell going to get still pissed off Alabama football team. God forbid Tim Keenan give Kalen DeBoer a pregame speech. You might not get on the team plane on the way out of there in Tuscaloosa, Luke Fickell.
So there's definitely an avenue for that. I would just say, let's not assume that we saw Alabama turn in one fiery, passionate performance and we say, oh, they're back to being the old them. Because we did this a bunch last year.
But Wisconsin's bad.
Wisconsin's very bad. They should beat the hell out of Wisconsin. I'm not confident enough to say, oh, you're coming into Tuscaloosa and you got to play a pissed off Bama. Because we said that to Michigan.
But did you see that Tim Keenan pregame speech?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they hung up. Come on. They hung up 77 on UL Monroe. I get it. Like, they looked great in that game. I'm not comfortable enough to say, oh, the Tide is back. They're angry. They're pissed off. SEC beware, because we did this last year. And, yeah, we said that after they beat LSU, and then guess what happens? They get put in the box by Oklahoma. Then we said that was like, oh, they're playing Michigan. All the stars are sitting. what happened in that game. So I've seen enough times all offseason. We talk about, man, it is different around Alabama. Kalen DeBoer, you can't show up practice late anymore. They're fiery. Lose to Florida State. So I'm not comfortable saying, oh, Alabama's pissed off, you're in trouble. But I absolutely do get what you're saying with Luke Fickell.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's like 28 points bad, 31 points bad. I mean, the line's 23.5, I think.
You got to at least have a pulse.
Yeah.
Luke Fickell here.
Yeah.
And there's a very real chance that does not happen.
That goes back to that your identity matching an attainable personnel and an attainable talent pool. I thought he made a drastic mistake when he took that job of becoming a widespread offense and changing his defensive identity as a football coach. Like, dude, do what you do. You got your first big-time job. Go do what you do, dude. Don't try to reinvent yourself on the fly because it's going to take you 3 years, and then by that time, you're going to be cooked. And now he's going back. I don't know if you're watching Wisconsin football. They're back in the eye. They're back playing tight ends. They're back being physical or trying to, but they just spent 3 years recruiting spread personnel.
Yeah.
Too late. Could be it this weekend. Got another one for you. Have y'all seen Mike Gundy lately? Now, I know y'all seen Mike Gundy lately, but have you seen the footage from last week out there in Austin?
No.
My man before the game is taking selfies with Oregon fans. His team is walking into the locker room, and Gundy's over there in the line taking photos with fans from the opposing team. Now, how you gonna go into the locker room and tell your boys to lock in after that?
Does Mike Gundy even get a hot seat, though? Or is it kind of just like, all right,
you can leave when you want? No,
like,
eventually it gets bad enough.
I wasn't even going to say, I was like, Mike, it's time.
Yeah,
like
Mike, just go.
I don't feel like I'm tapped into the Oklahoma State fan base. That's my apologies. I've never really been,
if there's a Cowboy fan tonight, stand up.
Please.
Stand up.
Please, and let us know how you feel. Because I don't
and not a
feel like,
Dallas Cowboy fan. You probably
we did have an Oklahoma State fan in here last week.
We
we did. Got to go Pokes.
But I don't feel like there's a lot of outrage around Mike Gundy. It's not like, we got to get this guy out of here. It's over. We're done. I feel like it's more just like, yeah, I mean, he's probably on his way out. Like, it's time. So I don't know. But I agree with you also. Like, this is probably Mike Gundy's last season.
I think there's an opportunity if Kansas State loses to Arizona this weekend that Chris Kleiman could be, because like think of all the context around this. It's not even the fact that they would be starting the season the way that they have, but it would be also in the midst of the narrative around your quarterback room going into last year was you ran a guy out because this was the guy. You guys thought Avery Johnson was the answer for you at quarterback. And this would be now year 2 where there is no playoffs hope for you. There is no conference championship for you. Like, you made the wrong decision, and ultimately it's turning into the downfall of a program. I think that would be enough for people to start talking about Chris Kleiman.
Let's move over to the Big Ten. I don't know who UCLA plays this weekend, but this looks real bad for Deshaun Foster.
It hasn't ever really looked good.
It hasn't ever looked real good.
No. Do they have a bright spot?
I don't think so.
The bright spot was getting Nico, a former 5-star this season.
And that's gone to poop. How about another one for you? Have y'all seen the stadium that Northwestern's building?
Oh, I did see some pictures, yeah.
Guys, it's not just the video footage I've seen of this stadium. It's not just the pictures and how incredible this thing's going to look. It basically looks like a basketball arena that has a football field in the middle of it, and it's outdoors. It's immaculate. Not only that, it costs $850 million. Costs $850 million, and they rolling out some poop into that right now. They got some 16 and 27 at head coach. And I don't mean to do that to David Braun. You walked into a real crappy situation, not to continue the poop theories. But you can't roll out $1 billion stadium and roll out some, we just got beat 22-3 by Tulane. Like, we cannot have it go that way when we just spent this much money. He's on some hot seat at Northwestern.
For sure.
Now, as is the athletic department as a whole, because we're $1 billion, I highly doubt that's publicly funded out there. We're in $1 billion of debt for our school because of a new stadium, and it's pretty and it's gorgeous, but I'm pretty sure they also just lost a massive lawsuit to the head football coach they improperly fired as well with Pat Fitzgerald. Don't know if you've read up on that, but they lost that sucker. They settled with that one too. So I think he got close to, I want to say $200 million. So now we talking about $850 was the asking price, original ticket price for the stadium. We know how inflation works with construction costs, or at least I definitely do. Definitely over $1 billion by this point, and we just lost a massive 7-figure lawsuit. That's, I don't know my math there. Big time lawsuit to our fired football coach as well. Not great.
Got one more name.
Yeah.
Before I give it, though, I will say this is not me going full Paul Feinbaum, all right? Dabo Swinney loses to Georgia Tech, though.
They won't fire that guy.
Dude, I'm not saying they're going to fire it, but dude,
I'm all the way with you.
You're going to go 1-2, and like the assumption here is that if you lose to Georgia Tech, it also likely means that Cade Klubnik probably didn't have his best game. I mean, I think people are what I've noticed.
Fire Garrett Riley before they do anything else.
I'm just saying there will be a conversation sparking up about it.
Tyler
Certainly
from
will.
Spartanburg gonna talk some trash.
I don't think it'll be Tyler from Spartanburg. I think that the entire hope here has been that Cade Klubnik was going to eventually get it, and that this offense was eventually going to click, and you were going to have a national title contender at Clemson once again. That was the entire hope this offseason. And you lose to Georgia Tech, and that it doesn't completely disappear, but your hopes and the potential of that happening certainly diminishes by a lot.
Here's another thing I'll add to that, J. Will. We have watched this Clemson team slowly erode for the past 5 or 6 seasons. The national championship, and yes, they've won conference titles. That's great. They went from a national title contender consistently in the top 3, should always be in the playoff discussion, to yeah, they might get in the 12-team playoff this year, or yeah, they're good until a top 10 SEC team comes down and then they get their teeth kicked in. And this year was supposed to be the year where they're the number 1 team in the country, or some analysts had them. They've got all the returners on defense. Cade Klubnik might win the Heisman, best quarterback in the country. This is the year Clemson returns. And if you come out and you turn in a loss to LSU, a team that never wins in week 1, a really poor performance against Troy, albeit the weather, and then now a loss to Georgia Tech, a team that went, 7-5 last year?
Yeah.
There are going to be some uncomfortable discussions about Dabo Swinney.
Chat's talking about Brent Pry at Virginia Tech. That seat ain't heating up. That seat's on fire already. Yeah. I think that's already tossed to the wind.
Unfortunately.
Man, I had a thought that escaped me on this topic. I wrote the Brent Pry thing down. How about Taylor Green looking like he's going to save Sam Pittman's job right about now?
Dude, yeah, we all kind of walked in the season thinking Sam Pittman's kind of, this might be it.
I kind of thought he'd make it out alive, to be honest.
They look good right now. Like they look like this might be an 8-4, 7-5 team that gives someone problems.
Arkansas, over the last few years under Sam Pittman, has been maybe not an SEC contender, maybe not one of those, but they've certainly been a team of, well, you don't want to play them. They're a team that you don't necessarily look forward to playing on the weekends. I think that's what they've been because of Taylor Green and because of KJ Jefferson. Like those two guys, they've created a point where that program is. That's a tough beat, man. Like it may not be as easy as it looks on paper.
Hey, we got some super chubs to acknowledge, boys. I also want to acknowledge, now that we're 30 minutes into the show, we decided as a show we were going to take 2 hours and be a football show. All right. Obviously, a very tragic, and I feel uncomfortable even talking about it. RIP, condolences to Charlie Kirk, prayers to his family. I do feel like I want to say this. We've got to, and everybody's made this point today, we have got to get to a point as a body, as a human body, where we can actually talk to somebody that we disagree with. Everything's too radicalized nowadays. Let's get to these super chubs and then move on with the football show. I want everybody to be able to come here today for 2 hours and just think about football. And I know that sometimes we need to think about the tragic things and talk about them and confront them. That was my opportunity to do so, and I felt really uncomfortable even doing that. So let's get to these super chubs. Days like today are yet another reminder when our day of seeing the Lord will come. That being said, what are you most thankful for? What are you most thankful for? Also shows not a single day should go to waste. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my job. I'm thankful for my passions. I'm thankful for the Lord, and I'm thankful for my inner thoughts. The ability to talk to myself critically, positively. I'm thankful for those things. Boys, what y'all got?
Definitely family.
Family.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asking if we sell merchandise. Yes, there's a link in the description of this video, and it's got brand new merch on there. Y'all should go check that stuff out. We're doing great work over there with that stuff as well. Hey, write these names down. Georgia Fan 224, I think, is already on the board. Bound Lunar said, started watching all this offseason. I'm absolutely hooked to this channel. Y'all do great work, and I can't wait to see the show blow up one day. Keep up the good work, and go Dogs. And buddy, I think we're blowing up currently. That's the way I like to think about it. I think every year everybody's like, oh man, you're blowing up. Like, hey, we've been here. We've been doing this. Ain't nothing changed around here. We're going to keep our head down and keep working. Appreciate you, Bound Lunar, right there. Samir Ibrahim, who I think's already on the board.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my man who's traveling the world watching foosball. Headed to Clemson at Georgia Tech this weekend. Is this the last window for Dabo to get back into natty contention? And if Tech does pull it off, are we looking at a playoff contender out of Georgia Tech? I'll tell you this much. They ain't got a shot, and you know what, to have like this good a quarterback play. Say what you want about Cade Klubnik. Every time I watch Clemson, it ain't his fault. I mean, he's got some misses. He's got some limitations. But good God, he's getting hit every 2 seconds. I feel like every time I watch Clemson in a big-time football game. That's my opinion on him. Good God, who knows what Christopher Vicina or the Stetson Bennett walk-on that balled out in the spring game is going to look like behind that offensive line.
Yeah.
So, I have no idea what the future at Clemson looks like after this one. God be with us all, says Brado 902. Who needs to go up on the board, boys? I think for sure Bound Lunar. I don't remember writing that name up on the board.
And then Georgia Fan 224.
Let's handle that. Boys, go ahead and start your conversations on keys to the game. Let's stick with this Clemson storyline. Stay there in Atlanta with the game my man Sammy is going to. Clemson at Georgia Tech. I think last time I looked, Clemson 3.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I think the biggest key to this one is going to be number one.
Georgia Fan 224.
What does Georgia Tech's offensive approach look like? Because you kind of got thrown into an interesting situation last week with Aaron Philo starting for you because Haynes King, whether it was not you did a healthy scratch or he was injured. It's going to be interesting to see what the offensive approach is. I think that's the biggest key because if I'm Clemson, I don't really know what I'm preparing for. I have to prepare for two offenses. That's going to be the biggest one for me.
For Clemson, in my opinion, it's all about you have to be successful and efficient on first and second down. And I think that I say that because the run game is still trying to pick it up. And I don't know that it will this season because it never really did last year. Because of that, you have to stay ahead of the six because and that means you got to rely on Cade Klubnik to do a lot of things, and maybe it is going to be another season of where you got to really implement Cade Klubnik in the run game to make sure that you're staying on schedule offensively, but you got to be successful there because you can't have 3 and outs against this Georgia Tech team, especially if they're moving the ball, and that plays into for my take on Clemson is you want to take this program into deep water. You're going to have them on the road. You want to take this game all the way into fourth quarter with it being a three-point football game or something along the lines of that, and you're trying to fight for the final possession where you can get a death march or something like that.
Guys, I think the key to this football game is Monday through Friday, and I know I'm Mr. Coach or Mr. Wannabe Coach who always talks about preparation and all that good stuff, but seriously, think this got to be the hardest defensive prep that they'll ever really have, or anybody will ever really have. You've got the Haynes King offense that is it's modern option. That's what it is. Like it's option with like a real passing threat off of it, not just pitches off of it, like you real threats, explosives up off of it. And then we got the other guy who's a conventional passer that not just a decent passer. He just broke the damn school record last week. All right, 378 yards passing. Yes, mid-major, but I mean, if you're a Clemson fan listening to this, you felt really good about Cade Klubnik throwing for damn near 400 against App State. We didn't hear nothing about that in the midst of that. Clemson's back, Cade Klubnik's back playing good football last year. Okay, so it could go both ways on that one. So this has got to be the toughest defensive prep for Tom Allen and that defensive unit that he'll have all year. Okay, so how do you go about that? How do you prepare for both the Haynes King process and with what's going on with Aaron Philo? You guys hit the nail on the head with regards to playing Georgia Tech. If things are working, if Haynes King they don't even have to score points. They just control the ball so damn much that they're playing good defense because of it. They're going to shorten the game limit possessions, and you're going to find yourself in almost like a boa constrictor type effect where every time you get the football, it feels pressurized because it's the first time you've touched it in 8 minutes. That doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think another aspect or another key to this matchup is going to be what type of version of Cade Klubnik. Does he look buttoned up? Does he look comfortable in the pocket? I know that you can say that the offensive line's been bad. he's turned the ball over. He's put the ball at risk at times with his own decisions that has not been great this year. Hasn't been, the Heisman caliber first round pick that we all thought he was going to be in the offseason. So I think that if you get a buttoned up version of Clemson's probably all right. But if not, and if it looks more like what it was in the last 2 games, I think you're going to be in trouble.
All good there?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to the next football game. South Florida, going down further South Florida. Hey, which one's is Miami further South Florida than South Florida? Who's further South Florida?
Yes.
Is South Florida's in Tampa, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, South Florida going down to South Florida to take on the Miami Hurricanes in Hard Rock. The key to the game to me, guys, is can South Florida avoid the adrenaline dump? And you'll say, but Brooksy, they didn't have just one upset. They've had 2 back-to-back. I say nay. I say that entire building spent all offseason with the mindset of Boise's gettable. We're going to get these Boise Broncos. They're going to come down here into the swamp. They're going to look slow. They're going to look tired. They're going to look hot. They were telling them boys all summer, we got them. Don't worry about them. We're going to get them. But if you didn't watch that video of them South Florida football coaches leaving the Ben Hill Griffin press boxes, you don't know what I'm talking about. That's a serious adrenaline dump. When you go on the road and you beat the Florida Gators, and then the next week you got to get right back up for war against Miami. Can they get up off the mat and avoid the adrenaline dump through the first half? I think that's the major key, because this is a situational football team, all right? If they get into a 30-point shootout, they're not going to win it. I don't trust Byron Brown to score that many points against a Miami defense. Maybe Miami's defense is that bad. They didn't look that bad to me against Notre Dame.
No.
So I think this has got to be a very situational based football game, and you got to avoid the initial adrenaline dump when you get there. Make sure these guys are up and ready in that first half.
For sure. I think for me, this one goes back to basics. What can USF do on the line of scrimmage? We've seen Miami's offensive line push around teams for 6 quarters now. That second half of the Notre Dame game got a little shaky, but still, they have a very, very physical offensive line. It's what Mario Cristobal is known for. They're going to be able to run the football. If you can't stop that from happening, and you have a consistent run game from Miami, and Carson Beck's able to just pick his way apart, this is not going to be a close football game, and I think that's what Vegas is indicating here, because there's such an advantage in the offensive line. If USF can create any havoc within the offensive line and get Carson Beck uncomfortable and hinder the running game, they have a chance here. But if not, I think Miami rolls.
I think there's an opportunity. Sorry to cut you off, Jay. Well, I think there's an opportunity where they pull in Indiana and just keep it close. Like, do everything you can to just keep it close. Or do you think they go out balls to the wall and go win it?
I have it in my keys that Miami needs a hot start. Just go, because
I was talking about USF's game plan from a standpoint of we've got a playoff berth if we go. We've got a playoff berth if we go handle our business in conference. So if this gets rowdy early and we're on the road down 14-0, let's keep this thing close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or do they start, go rampant? Do they say, hey, who cares if we go down 42-3? We're going down on our sword today.
Right.
I think do you have that mental thought process? Because if you get beat 41-3, does it matter?
Well, I think it just becomes a point in case of if USF is a G5 representative, then it's like, they got Florida, and it really kind of depends on if Florida ends up being a struggle bus this year too. Like, it's like, they're in here, but they probably don't deserve to be in here.
Florida's going to look like a struggle bus, whether or not you want to say they're a good 6-6 team. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Right.
So it'll just be a conversation of G5 team had to get put in there, whatever. But I think but Miami has to get off to a hot start, in my opinion. Like, get you a multi-score lead in the first half and just make it to where it feels insurmountable for USF to make a comeback, because that's not their style. They want to do what you're talking about, keep it close. They want it as a one-score football game the entire way, because they're not going to explosive their way back into a football game through the passing game, or at least they don't want to. That's not what they want this game to be about. So if Miami can just go ahead and get a few explosive plays, get off to a hot start offensively, get up like 14-3 at like midway through the second quarter, that'd be the most ideal situation for them.
Chad believes in Byron Brown, the passer, a whole hell of a lot more than I do. All right, that's the example I'm talking about. If they're down multiple scores in this first half, and it's like, all right, we're going to have to throw our way back into this, and it's dropping Byron Brown back, 40 times in this football game. That's not a recipe for a close football game. Not in my opinion. I think South Florida is a well-rounded football team that's built on physicality and situational football. They are very much so Notre Dame from last year. Okay, they got a mobile, big-ass, physical quarterback that don't nobody want to tackle who's willing to die today. All right? And they win situationally. They win in the middle eight. They win on special teams. They win on defense. They win with execution. They do not win by scoring 40.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I was saying. I don't think they're going to get blown out. I think by worst, I think it's a 27-14 affair. All right? But I think it's going to be a 27-21 ball game. I think we're going to have to see Mario Cristobal manage the fourth quarter properly.
Oh, that scares me. You think it's close?
I think it. I don't think South Florida is going into this game getting blown out. No, I don't.
I think they could.
That's why you play the games.
That's why you play the games. Vandy at South Carolina. What's the key to the matchup?
Can the South
Big
Carolina...
Super Chub night tonight, by the way. Big Super Chub night tonight, by the way. We're going to be able to pay that gas bill on the way to Knoxville this weekend.
No kidding.
We'll get a pristine dinner, huh?
Love to see it, huh?
You going to take us to a nice
ain't nobody
dinner?
say nothing about that. I'm talking about wieners off the Quick Trip Roller Dogs. Let's keep it rolling. Hot.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. I'm talking beef sticks and boiled eggs. That's what I'm talking about.
Dude, just pack some.
Yeah, he's good about this. I'll be looking over midway through the drive, and he's eating like just straight chicken. No microwave, no nothing. Just cold chicken.
It's not the best, but you got to do what you got to do.
But if there were ever... Never mind. I'm not going to make that statement. I was going to say, if we were ever being investigated by the police for a murder, I would say it's got to be him.
What?
I don't think Jay Will's a killer. I've seen this dude eat cold chicken in the car, Copper. You know what? That would be my first one.
Is that ground?
This dude doesn't even season his chicken, Copper. It's got to be him.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
I've seen that chicken show up in this fridge before.
The non-seasoning allegations are crazy. I'm fine with, I eat cold chicken sometimes. No seasoning, no.
I mean, you're listening to Brandy. You got some seasoning, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Shout out.
But
no, the key to this game, I think, is going to be, can South Carolina's offense actually pick up the slack? Are you going to have to rely on Bakari Swain to give you some sort of firepower? It's like, oh, okay, we have momentum now. It seems like the last two games they played, and it's like, hey, we can't do anything until Bakari Swain returns a punt for a touchdown.
Don't even punt.
Kidding.
Just run out of bounds.
Yeah.
Don't
give him the ball.
It's like they try to kick away from him. That ball he picked up last week and ran back was ridiculous.
Yeah, the second one was amazing.
I mean, my God.
At this point, if anybody kicks to South Carolina, you pull the punter, bench the punter. Like you're better off just putting your quarterback back there and getting off a 25-yard punt than you are kicking to that guy. Like, don't do it.
Don't do it at all. I think it's offensive consistency for South Carolina. Right. I think that's the major key in this football game, especially with what Vandy does offensively. Vandy may not be scoring points, but they're going to be chewing clock and moving the ball. That's what they do. They might not punch it in the end zone, but they're going to be chewing clock and moving the football. So here's the problem with South Carolina's offense and what they've had going on for the better part of 2 years now. They're very boom or bust. They're very boom, smack, 3 plays, 75 yards, and then 4 straight drives of 3 and out. If you do that against Vandy, that leaves you an opportunity to leave your defense on the field for extended periods of the game, and that's a death sentence against any type of team that runs any type of offense like what Vandy's got going on. So if you don't have offensive consistency drive after drive, you're going to turn around and look up, and it's going to be midway through the second quarter, and you've touched it twice. That's a bad recipe, even at home. All right, can't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Completely agree.
Yeah, South Carolina for me, and I'm beating a dead horse, I know, but it's offensive line play. It is. I think that Vanderbilt has sneakily been good defensively as far as like tackles for loss go and creating sacks. I think it's one of the biggest reasons why they were able to like really pull away in that Virginia Tech game. But for Vanderbilt, it's all about control and pace of play. It's all about keep the ball on your side of the field. Don't allow South Carolina, because when you get into a boom or bust team like South Carolina, if you're controlling the pace of play and South Carolina's like, 3 and out, Lenore Sellers got sacked on 3rd down, and then you take it for another 6 minutes. Like that's the type of game that Vanderbilt wants.
It's such a weird offense from South Carolina because like most teams work off rhythm, like momentum. We got to get hot, like we got to work to a build and a climax, and then bam, we're like a smooth operating machine. Not them. They're just like explosive. Negative play.
Plus, I think too, like with this being at South Carolina, if Vanderbilt's able to hold on to the ball, you're going to take the atmosphere out of that building. Like if fans don't have a reason to cheer for like a good solid drive, like a 6-minute, 7-minute drive, then they got to ramp it all the way back up offensively. Like if you can keep the fans out of it,
it can be a lulling offense.
Yeah.
It's not like they're hitting you over the head with exciting plays. It's like they're just very much, 6-yard gain. Oh, damn, another one.
Bam, 40-yard pass.
Here's 3rd and 2 again. Let's see what happens. 3-yard gain.
third
No,
down?
it's the freaking
Buddy.
chicken.
I forgot to talk about it last week. Buddy's third down at Sanford. Bro, he sounded like Tim McGraw and Live Like You Were Dying. He held one the other day for like 18 seconds.
Ooh.
Bro, the pipes on my man.
He's been practicing. He's
If
been
you're
getting the
listening,
reps in.
I don't know Buddy's name, but my man was ripping the other day on third down.
Been getting the reps in.
Been getting the reps in. Lots of third downs. Any more on this Vandy South Carolina game?
Nah.
All right, Florida at LSU. I think it's an easy one for me. It's protection for Nuss.
Yes.
It's looked bad. Now, look, I know that Clemson unit is really, really good, guys, but I got tipped off. It looked bad against Louisiana Tech. It looked bad against Louisiana Tech. So, hey, what's going to happen? Last year in this matchup, he got sacked like 7 or 8 times. You can't have that happen again in this football game, especially with how limited they've been historically the last couple of years in conference play running the football. We start becoming one-dimensional and we don't have that mobile of a quarterback. It's not like they can get him sprinting out all the time. He's a good thrower on the run, but we can't move him all that much. He does most of his damage from within the pocket.
Yeah, and he hasn't exactly shown that he makes the greatest decisions under pressure.
No.
He seems to force it a little bit sometimes. So I think another simple key to this game is what kind of Florida are you getting? Because if you get a Florida that comes in and, man, we just lost to USF, our coach is probably going to get fired, quarterback's not as great as we thought he was, you weren't defeated, yeah, LSU's going to roll over you. I mean, it's going to be not a very good football game. But if Florida comes in angry and focused and, hey, we've still got a lot to go on this season, there's a lot of things, we have a great opportunity to upset a top 10 team after that embarrassment, let's go in here.
How many times they heard that speech?
A lot. But, I mean, it worked for him last year. Worked for him against Ole Miss. So, I mean,
He found something mid-season last year. I think what he found was a talented quarterback.
Yeah.
That's not playing very well right now because he can't practice.
You hit the nail on the head for LSU. I think for Florida, for me this week, it's about we got to find some type of offensive identity. Like we have to commit to one. And if your commitment for the rest of the season is that we're going to give our running backs a bunch of burn, I'm completely fine with that. I'm completely fine with if you want to shift your offensive mindset to we'll give DJ Lagway 22 attempts or 24 attempts and let him kind of slowly figure some things out, and we'll try and fist fight our way through football games. I'm completely fine with that. What I'm not completely okay with is we're just going to keep on trying, like hoping that it finally clicks. Or like on a day like this, when it's a night game in Death Valley against LSU, that like things are going to come together for DJ Lagway. Like find some type of offensive identity and just stick with it, man. Just commit to it.
The identity should be Jaden Ball.
I agree.
Better be.
I agree.
I think he's one of the best backs in the conference. I mean, how many great ones are there right now in the conference?
I think it's also we have a lot of I think that these are great.
Yeah. We also have a lot of they were playing tomato cans, so they weren't giving the starters a lot of burn. We'll see more. It's still way, way, way too early. But that's great. It means we got a lot of ball left in front of us. Speaking of a lot of ball, it's going to be a lot of ball played in South Bend, Indiana this weekend. A lot of ball. As the Texas A&M Aggies go on the road. Hey, football program that travels pretty damn well. You think them Notre Dame Irish fans let them buy out that stadium like they seem to let happen quite often?
I don't know, dude. I mean, that's a rough look.
I mean, it happened when Georgia went up there. They about damn near 50-50 that joint.
Ohio State did it in 22.
That's what I'm saying. What's up with that?
I don't know.
What's up with that? Irish fans that have found this channel. What's up with that? Shane Gillis, what's up with that?
They might just be too nice. Because that's like those are the reviews that I hear about Notre Dame fans of like
maybe too frugal,
like
realize there's an opportunity for a come up. I would a little tight on the nickel around here, man. I need a little cash myself. You told me Texas A&M Aggie fan want to come to town. He got some oil money, wants to pay me 4x face value. I ain't opposed.
Yeah, I mean. People are willing to pay a pretty penny to go up there because you don't go up there a whole lot. Like you don't know when the next time is going to be. So it makes sense too. Like take advantage of those opportunities. Like get you some money.
And I think it has to, if you're a Notre Dame fan, listen to this, it probably has far more to do with you have a historic football program that fans don't play a lot, that they have an opportunity to go see your stadium that they saw one time on Rudy, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I know there was a lot of my Georgia fans that were like, I'm going because I don't know if I'll ever be able to go again.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That type of vibe makes you want to go do that. There's not very many road games that make you feel that way.
No, definitely.
Georgia fans weren't feeling that way about a road trip to Tempe to play Arizona State. You know what I mean?
That would have been cool, though.
Well, not if you're a 45-year-old fan.
Okay.
No offense to Tempe.
Shout out Bosa.
What's the key to the game? For me, it's Marcel Reed's legs. Notre Dame wanted to be a man-to-man football team. That's their identity. Hard to do that against somebody who's just absolutely bludgeoning you to death with his legs, okay? So if you force, due to a couple of scrambles, if you force them to play zone, two things happen. I think that really opens up their RPO game that Colin Klein wants to get to, and it makes him feel comfortable. It's not only what he did, it's what Marcel Reed's best at, okay? If you get into bump and run man-to-man coverage, that makes RPO slant windows, RPOs, like just anything RPO-wise really, really tough. If I get into a zone window concept, that makes that type of stuff much easier. Those pictures much cleaner for the quarterback, okay? I'm reading the defender. Does he sink in? Okay, boom, I got the slant. It's a little bit different. Okay, he comes in. Oh, do we actually have space? Now it's a tight window. Two totally different conversations, first and foremost. Secondly, we make Notre Dame feel uncomfortable. We get them out of their game, right? If we get them playing zone coverage, they're not doing what they do. They're not playing their identity. I think it's a major key. If Marcel Reed busts a couple explosive with his legs, you might have a force a man-to-man football team to get up out of there.
Yeah, and that's why my key for Notre Dame is defensive line has to have a presence in this game, but not too aggressive, because what can happen if Marcel Reed is able to break contain from the pocket and he is able to run because Notre Dame's running a bunch of man-to-man and he's just picking chunk play after chunk play with his legs, then you get into some danger. But you need disciplined defensive line presence is the way that I think you should put it. I think they need a bit of a bounce-back game. And again, like, as I've reiterated multiple times about this, I understand that Miami's offensive line is really good, but just need to see more of it, because I think that was one of the biggest reasons why they were so successful on defense last year, because you had great man-to-man coverage, but on top of that, you had solid defensive line play to pair up with that.
Yeah, I think that as important as Marcel Reed's going to be, and look, the opportunity for being an explosive offense is certainly there for Texas A&M. I think the bigger question I have right now coming in this game is Notre Dame's quarterback, CJ Carr, good enough to win you a game? Or is he efficient enough to not lose you a game? Because Riley Leonard might not have been hey, we need you to go out there and give us the game-winning drive. We're down. We need a 75-yard drive in 2 minutes. Might not have been that. But he was so efficient that they rarely caught themselves in that situation. I don't know if CJ Carr is either right now, and that's going to be a very important factor.
I think we see Minchie this weekend. If he struggles at all, you have to play him. That's what I talked about to start the show. You're in a situation where if you go 0-2, it's it. I don't think they're taking a 10-2 Notre Dame at the end of this year.
No.
I think you're ranked 13th, 14th with that type of schedule, with what it looks like moving forward with your future opponents. So you have to approach this as a must-win. It's a playoff game in September for you. So if the quarterback struggles, we got to go to Minchie. No different than if the starter gets shelled in the first inning. Back to the baseball analogy. If the starter gets shelled, we got to go. We got to go straight to the bullpen right now and stop the bleeding. I think you have to be paying attention to this football game for that.
Definitely.
All right. Hey, it's Wednesday. What If Wednesday, boys? Introduce the segment. I'm going to relieve myself.
I hope he's going pee.
All right. Well, if you don't know, What If Wednesday is one of the show's favorite segments.
Speaking of merch, this is available on our merchandise site. We also have a very new version of this that was created by our new graphics department. They're doing a great job. You should check it out. It's a link in the description of this video. Did they hear that?
I think so.
We'll find out, I guess.
Should have probably yelled in this direction because that's where all the mics are, but...
Anyways, What If Wednesday is one of our show's favorite segments, and it's just where we give a bunch of what-if scenarios, we propose it to the rest of the show, and we discuss it. So first one that I have right here, Kirby, what if Miami just absolutely handles USF? Like, what if they cover the spread? Like, what is it, 27.5 or something like that?
It's 28 when we looked at it.
Yeah, something crazy like that. What if they cover the spread, absolutely handle them? Are we making the claim next week that Miami is the best team in the country?
Ooh, best team in the country. I don't know if that's the case. I think we certainly look at Miami with a different respect to say, okay, you handled Notre Dame, you handled the mid-major, beat the hell out of them, and then this, Cinderella story that everyone had really highly ranked, you came in and you handled business on. But the reality of it is, Miami's a 28-point favorite in this game. If you do that, if you do win by 4 touchdowns, that's just handling business. That's doing what you were supposed to do. I think that, yeah, there's room to say, hey, look at what Miami's doing right now. They have 2 top 10, top 25 wins that are very impressive, but the reality of it is Miami's handling business if that's the case.
17.5 is the line right now.
It's squeezed.
Okay. So, yeah, I think we were beating.
I think it was 18 and a half
it
when
was
we
18.
took it.
I don't know why I put 2 in front. But yeah, I mean, a 20-point victory, you should have done that. That's what you were projected to do. Win by how much you're supposed to win by, lose how much you're supposed to lose by.
All right. At what point, this is a what if, but like, what if Vandy goes into South Carolina and handles the Gamecocks? And they got a gauntlet the rest of the way, no different than everybody else. I already read it off a little bit earlier. It's the SEC slate. But at what point do we have to take Vandy seriously? And what is Vandy seriously? Is Vandy, like, do they have a chance at 9-3? Do they have a chance at 10-2? If they win this week, do we have to talk about them like that?
I think if Vanderbilt wins this game, we look at it as, Vanderbilt's a team nowadays that can beat anybody. They've shown you that the last 2 years. They went and beat number 1 Alabama. They beat a top 10 South Carolina or top 12 South Carolina team this year. They have now reached the stats to where they're consistent enough and good enough to beat anyone. I don't know if we have to look at them as a playoff team. I would say, though, if Vanderbilt handles South Carolina, that's more of an indictment on South Carolina in this game.
Schedule's hard.
Schedule's brutal.
They got at Tennessee, Auburn, at Texas, LSU at home,
Bama.
at Bama.
They play Bama and LSU back to back.
Yeah, at Bama, then LSU.
It's SEC
bye
brutal,
week.
by the way, boys.
Got a bye week.
That's everybody's slate except for Texas's and Missouri's. Everybody's SEC slate looks like that because everybody in the SEC pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. Pretty damn good. Isn't that crazy?
That actually takes me back to my next what if. What if no one from the SEC is bad this year?
But what if no one from the SEC is great?
It's not possible, Kirby.
I mean, that's also a possibility too. Like we looked at, like, Mississippi State just be a top 15 team. They hadn't beaten a Power 4 opponent in like 2 years. We just watched, a Kentucky team give a top 20 Ole Miss team everything they wanted to handle. They've shown they're consistent. We all know Vanderbilt's good now. Like, the bottom feeders that have consistently been the bottom feeders of the SEC, Arkansas looks good. What if no one in the SEC is a bad football team this year, and you've got a bunch of either good football teams, really good football teams, or elite football teams?
Joel Klatt will weep.
Maybe.
I guess.
I don't feel like Joe Klatt hates the SEC.
No, they'll spin it. The Big Ten homer will spin it. They'll say, no, they're just propped up by rankings. Saban's gone. There's truly no great team there anymore.
But
that'll be the Danny Cannell tweet. Just tell the AP, look how flawed it is. FPI, look how flawed and corrupt it is. These teams are just propped up by propaganda. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd give this take now, but I don't get upset with the personalities that display these takes because yes, they're
you know,
right,
but the common I don't assume the common fan that doesn't listen to us, that just watches mainstream media. I don't think they know. I don't think they know that everything that comes out of Joel Klatt's mouth is straight Big Ten bias. I don't think they know that.
Yeah, but I think
they just think, a Fox employee, he looks like he's in a nice set and they pay him a lot of money. He's in a good suit. Mm-hmm. I hear him call games for my favorite team. He must be an expert.
Yeah.
And he must be telling me a real opinion right here.
So I don't think that, Joe Klatt is inherently biased. I don't think Danny Cannell hates the SEC. I think their jobs and, the people that write their checks are obviously lobbying. Now, do they do some lobbying as they're biased in what they do? Yes. I don't think that they are inherently biased people. I don't think the SEC being good would upset Joel Klatt. See, I think it'll upset the people that
Klatt's the one that concerns me. I think everybody knows Danny Cannell's doing a shtick. I think everybody gets that. I think Klatt's trying to do straight man with Petites in his ear.
I get it. But again, at that point, I'm not upset with Klatt. Like, you're doing
your job. They pay you a lot of money. Right. They got to be paying him north of $2 million. I would imagine, not to pocket watch Joel Klatt.
He's definitely not starving.
No.
What if Arch looks uncomfortable for a third game in a row?
Talked about that with the friend of the show, Paul, just recently. That's scary. That's scary. Also, kind of points to no questions about Sark playing Quinn. None.
Yeah.
I think the next question
Zero.
is what's the question of Sark developing quarterbacks? Because you've gone through an entire...
Well, Mac Jones would like a word.
Yes, Mac Jones was really good. Mac Jones had a really good senior season. But
Jonathan, you're making faces. He turned flabby Mac Jones with no arm into a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, but...
He also had
Where was the development?
Didn't matter. Where was the development? He went from a non-playable football player to third in the Heisman.
Yeah.
And I know he had great players around him, but...
I think we're also, though, finding out...
We're also talking about half a decade
why people had those previous takes about Mac Jones. I think development also translates to, he's also showing in the NFL. I think those conversations have to happen. Not saying that there wasn't any at all. Like, certainly there was development for Mac Jones during his time at Alabama for him to be a competent quarterback for them that year. But I wouldn't say that he completely changed Mac Jones.
Was he Jake Locker's football coach at Washington?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
Because that out. I don't think he put a NFL quarterback in the league during his time at Southern Cal.
I'm looking at it solely from a head coach position where we went through 2.5 years, 3 years of Queen Ewers. It was like, man, we don't really feel like he got better from the moment he took the field as a first-time starter to the time he left. Yeah. Now we're looking at Arch Manning, where it's like, hey, he had 2 years behind the program, and now it's his time to shine, and all of a sudden he's struggling in his third year. Like, there might be a developmental issue for Steve Sarkisian in Texas. That's all I would say there.
Texas does have. Is Wingo hurt? Was that on the injury report?
Well, they don't have SEC matchup.
Chat saying best receiver's hurt. That's got to be Wingo. I'm assuming it's who they're talking about.
I mean, best receiver being hurt doesn't change the fact that you're dirting Diggs.
The Mosley. The mechanics falling apart. It's a weird thing.
Mm-hmm. Very weird.
So weird. I was telling Paul today, I was almost hopeful it was an injury. Like, yeah. If you're compensating for something, that makes me feel a whole hell of a lot better than, he just does this.
Yeah, because
he just does this. What?
Because at that point, it's like, just give it time, then he'll be all right. And now it's like, I don't know if it will be all right.
Guys, what if Austin Simmons continues to turn it over a lot this weekend at home against Arkansas? I'm going to tell you right now, you don't need to give extra possessions to hospital ball. We don't need to be handing that guy free possessions.
No.
Okay, because Taylor Green's averaging 376 yards per game right now. And I know, been playing some slop, but everybody been playing some slop, and they ain't put up 376.
Well, and you turn it over against Arkansas, Taylor Green about to throw it 70 yards across the field and score a touchdown.
Yeah.
They ain't just going to hold it back and like, we got the ball back, we'll walk it down the field. No. That dude's going
we're underdogs. Let's see if we can keep this close.
Yeah. That's a scary game to be playing if you are Ole Miss. So you better hope he's not turning it over still.
What if Wyoming beats Utah this week? Who then becomes I guess they're going to win the Big 12 team.
Yeah. What was your what if again? I was reading the chat about Sark asking people if they poop.
What if Wyoming beats Utah?
Oh, don't do that to my Utes.
I'm just saying.
Your Utes?
Yeah, those two Utes. Sorry, Utes.
Elite reference. Have you seen My Cousin Vinny?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey.
Really?
I like Joe Pesci.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
It's a good movie. That would be crazy. The Cowboys getting a dub against the Utes?
Does TCU become the next Big 12 darling?
It might have to be that or Iowa State.
My TCU Horned Frogs. Mine.
Just claim the whole conference. Why don't you?
What do you mean, dude? They're mine. They're my playoff team.
My Cyclones.
My playoff team.
My TCU
Horned Frogs. I've been lighting the spoon on Hoover all offseason, big dog.
Oh, bro.
Since July, I've been talking about the Horned Frogs.
Can we talk about the Kansas Jayhawks for a little bit, guys?
Go ahead. Get your Kansas Jayhawks.
No.
They were so close to beating Missouri at home.
No.
Go on and Jayhawk.
No.
That phantom face mask.
No. I want to do this one real quick because I don't want to entertain it too much.
What if Clemson starts 1-2?
Well, I think we had that discussion earlier.
We did. What if Notre Dame starts 0-2?
I think we also kind of talked about that. Mm-hmm. What if Florida gets to a point where they got to bench DJ Lagway?
No.
Okay.
We are not benching 25% of our salary cap.
Okay.
No. Not happening.
Might have to.
Well, I'm just saying. There's certain people that were saying it last week.
Yeah, because Tramel Jones lit up LIU.
Just saying.
Sorry, Florida fans, but it's LIU.
But the only reason why I bring this up is if you are struggling to move the ball, I don't care how much you are tied to DJ Lagway, Billy Napier, you have to save yourself.
Bench him.
You might have to make a decision for yourself.
You got to bench him.
What's your angle on that?
Salary cap be damned, dude. Like this idea, and I think that college teams are really falling into an issue with this here of like, we spent so much money on this guy, he has to start.
It's 9:05.
Yeah, we've been
My bad.
eating into the local.
That's what I said. I wanted to get this one off real quick.
But let me give this take real quick. I feel like we as analysts and college teams have gotten so fixated on, we give so-and-so this amount of money. They have to play. Like, the NFL doesn't do that. The NFL bench Kirk Cousins like, yeah, we'll let you be a $38 million backup right now. We don't care. We want to win games. So if winning games is the ultimate goal, which it should be, don't say, we pay this guy so much money, we can't sit him. He's 25% of our cap space. We can't sit him. Don't do that.
Where was that take last night when we were talking about Colorado playing the third stringer? We got a whole nother hour coming up right after this. Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? Really like that. You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we open up the show by putting the homie Wonk up on the board. Shout out to Wonk. Appreciate you for the super chub. Said he was demanding he put on the board. As you should, my fine man. Paying your hard-earned cash to get up on that board. You ought to get up on that board. Shout out to you. Hey, welcome into the Loaded Local Hour. We got a great one for you here. We got our final film notes. Going to go into a very unique positional breakdown. We do positional breakdowns in these matchups a whole hell of a lot different than the rest of the sports media does, because they be thinking offensive linemen playing offensive linemen out here. That ain't how football works, my man. So we're going to break it down the right way tonight. We got What If Wednesday local edition. Why each team should be confident entering this matchup. Individual matchups that will define this football game. And we've got a very special segment for our friends over at Sleeper tonight. We're going to go through all of the props available in this football game and pick the ones that we think have the most value. Get a little expert opinion in here for our friends over at Sleeper. Again, that's promo code Brooks over there. Hey, let's get into it. Hey, let's do a local ad read first and foremost. Let me find that right here. We got one more for the homies. One more for the homies over there at Bill Thompson Tire Service. Family owned and operated, serving Albany, Georgia for over 50 years. Come see Billy for all your automotive and tire needs, or call him at 229-435-7753. Again, that phone number, 229-435-7753. If you mention this ad to either Kathy or Bill at the shop, they'll put you in a monthly drawing for a collapsible UGA cooler, up to a $50 value, one entry per person. Again, that's our friends over at Bill Thompson Tire Service. I could use some new shoes on the whip, especially after a long trip up to Knoxville, Tennessee this weekend.
Are you saying that you need new tires right now and we're about to drive?
No. After, I mean, they're a little bald. Probably could use a rotation. Maybe a full service. Should call my friends.
Man,
there, Bill Thompson.
This is very reassuring.
It's about an hour and a half. Maybe we go down to South Georgia and then up to Knoxville.
Oh, that
How about
logistically
that?
Makes a lot of sense.
I would imagine our friends at Bill Thompson Tire Service and Auto have such good turnaround, they might be able to do it for us. Especially if friends of the show.
I sure hope so.
I sure hope so as well. I think we'll be all right, though. Mm-hmm. Not like it's a lot of mountainous terrain on the way to Knoxville or anything.
Yeah, no.
I mean, the brakes are good, so we should be all right.
Brakes are important.
Brakes are important. Not here. We're full gas. Not around this network. No breaks. Maybe a break or two for ads and some promos and some paying the bills. But let's get after it. We got a great football game this weekend, boys. What should each football team be confident about? I got some bullet points for each one of these football teams. First and foremost, let's start with the home team. Let's start with the ops for the Georgia fans listening today, even though I think we got some lingering Tennessee fans, as they should. It's a premier matchup. Tennessee fans should be very, very confident about the fact that their quarterback is playing some elite and confident football in and of his own right. Amen, boys?
Yep.
Joey Aguilar is playing some really, really confident and elite football at the quarterback position right about now. And not only that, they're coming off a Tennessee State football game where he provided a level of confidence to that wide receiver corps. Mike Matthews making big-time football plays.
Yeah,
in
that throw
game.
before the half was huge for them. I feel like
and Sorry, that's the type of play Mike needs to make.
Yeah.
I know most people say, well, that's not going to work and yada, yada. You're right. But he was providing an opportunity for Mike to build confidence in that opportunity. Ball in the air, can you go make a play for? It was something that showed up on tape over and over again in that Syracuse game. 4, can you make a play? 4, go make a play. 4 made a play.
Definitely.
Should be confident about that. What else should they be confident about?
I feel like not only quarterback alone, this is probably the most complete Tennessee team that has faced a Kirby Smart team. From 2017 to 2020, we know what that was. You were going through some things. 2021, still first year under Heupel. 2022, you had a great offense, but there were still, hey, this defense is gettable. The last 2 years, you've had a defense, and the offense hasn't been able to supplement it.
Y'all remember that toy that was like made out of water and gelatin, and you could stick your fingers in both sides and it would slide back and forth? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's what Jeremy Pruitt was out here looking like in that 2020 football game.
Oh, yes. Looking like E.T. But yeah, no,
looking like he was in a Chinese finger trap.
The past 2 years, you've had a good defense, but your offense hasn't been able to get things going. So I feel like this year is the first time when we come in and say, man, Tennessee's offense looks like it's really clicking. They're hitting their deep balls. And at the same time, the defense is creating havoc. So this is a really complete Tennessee team that Georgia's facing on Saturday.
I said Tennessee should be confident in their ability to be the offensive aggressor. I haven't seen Georgia be able to do that just yet, at least through the air. They've been aggressive in the run game, but through the passing attack, haven't exactly seen it. But you know for a fact that Tennessee is going to be aggressive, and that might be the difference in the ball game for you. Is if you hit enough of those, you're going to be in a strong position to win.
Jonathan, I think if you're a Tennessee fan going into this one, you think you have the most explosive units on both sides of the football. I don't think you have the best defensive unit, but you have the most havoc-wreaking defense. Y'all give up explosives. Don't get me wrong. Tennessee's defense is statistically not what Georgia's is. Historically, it's not what Georgia's is. From a talent standpoint, it's not what Georgia's is. But they get after it, man. They turn teams over. They create havoc plays. They create tackles for losses. They create sacks. Like they hunt the football. Now they give it up as well. Georgia does not, but they have the most explosive units on both sides of the football. You mentioned it offensively. Obviously, Tennessee should feel more confident about their deep passing game going into this one than what Georgia's does. You have home field advantage. You should feel confident about that. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, definitely. And by the way,
what's up?
In the last 3 Georgia-Tennessee games that take place in Neyland, Tennessee's held leads, like significant leads, to the point where I think that you have to feel confident in that it's not necessarily, and yeah, Georgia's overcome them, but you have to feel confident that you have a home field advantage and you have a likelihood of getting a lead at some point in this game.
If you're a Tennessee fan that's watched this network the last 3 weeks, you should feel really confident about what your coach did this offseason to try to win these types of football games. We talked about it a lot before the show. The screen stuff that they have added to this game, to this offense, I think was just to beat win these types of games. When going into a matchup against Georgia or going into a matchup against Ohio State, that your run game is going to get made to look inefficient. It's not going to look like it normally does because they got good defensive linemen. They got good linebackers that can play light boxes. So how do we get into efficient downs? How do we get into a 2nd and 4 when we aren't averaging 6 yards a carry? Well, we need to get into a 2nd and 4 by hitting a 6-yard screen pass into the flat. But coach, we're a wide choice football team. Our flats aren't in the flats. They're outside the numbers. We can't be a screen team. Well, what if we bunch? What if we get into trips bunch and start doing some flare screens? What if we take some stuff from Texas's screen game? What if we bring it over? They did all that this offseason to get into more of these huntable downs, these efficient downs. Their whole entire offensive system is built off being able to get into 2nd and 3 so we can hunt. They spent the offseason getting and working, finding ways to easily get into 2nd and 3 and not earn their way into 2nd and 3.
I think for Georgia, they should be confident in their defensive backs because, and I understand what the opponents were, but typically when you have some type of position battle at Georgia, it really boils down to 2 guys. And I know that the first week you didn't have one of your starters in Dalen Everett, but you've consistently played all 4 of those defensive backs early on in situations in both football games, which tells me that staff believes in all 4 of those guys. I think you're going to see all 4 of them again on Saturday, and they looked really good in the first 2 weeks. I think you should feel confident that knowing what Tennessee is wanting to do, like knowing that you should feel confident if Tennessee is going to attack you deep, that your defensive backs aren't going to panic like that. And I think you've seen that also. I think that's one of the biggest advantages that Georgia's had against Tennessee is you haven't seen much panic for Georgia defensive backs when Tennessee does chunk it. Like, go back to that Keely Ringo play in 2022. That guy tracked the ball better than anybody almost that Saturday. You don't see panic for some reason again with these guys when it comes to Tennessee.
For sure. I remember that. Remember SEC Storied came through that week, and they had been grinding that exact drill.
Yep.
Ball over the shoulder, track the football, be comfortable seeing it, don't panic. Track the football, look it over your shoulder, don't panic. And it plays out in this football game. We talked about it. There's no way ifs, ands, or buts about it. There are going to be 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 opportunities on Saturday where the ball's being thrown in the air, 45 yards down the field, make a play. And if they win, they don't even have to win half of them. Tennessee's offense doesn't. They got to win like 3 or 4 of them. And now the field has flipped. Now they're in scoring position. And now there's points on the board. So that's the whole point of this offense. The problem is, and the third down stats lay this out, they have been in so many third and longs against this football team over the years because they've been inefficient in the rundown scenarios, because they can't run against these light boxes from Georgia. It adds up in our analysis every single year going to this football game. It's why I felt really comfortable predicting it on Wednesday, despite the fact that they actually have a quarterback. Like, that's the major difference for me, guys. They have a quarterback for the first time in this football game since 2022. The last 2 years, they've had I'm good throwing ball guy. That's not playing the position. The guy playing the position now is playing it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think another reason Georgia should feel confident in this is
I got a whole list of them dog confidence.
Are we on Georgia now?
Yeah, let's transition. Go ahead. I'm done. I've wiped the slate on Tennessee. You?
I've kind of wiped my slate.
Oh, well, don't worry about it. I got a whole list of these here dog bullet points.
Well, I mean, no, it's clear that Georgia has a physical running game, which travels well in these situations. I think back to last year's team. They didn't really have a dominant physical run game, and it showed in the road games. Their offense looked very, very poor against Ole Miss. Their offense didn't look great against Texas, and in fact, it basically took 2 turnovers to get your offense going and really help you sustain that lead. Alabama, we know what that was. Horrible start, had to throw the ball to get back in the game. Good run games travel on the road, and to be able to just drive the ball down a team's throat and take the crowd out of it is going to be a very, very effective thing. I think it's what Georgia's going to try to do on Saturday.
That's my first note for Georgia. Run game and defense travel. Like, there ain't no crowd noise impacting the run game. The knockoff at the line of scrimmage, like maybe get off from the defensive line, maybe like some stuff like that. But run game and defense, 9 times out of 10 in this conference, they travel. Okay. Also, Georgia should feel confident, and the fan base seems to feel confident because you're built for this. It's something we've been talking about on this network for a while. It's something with this matchup. It's something we talk about every year when this one comes up. Tennessee's stylistic morals, their modus operandi is we want to run into light boxes. That's what Georgia does. Georgia stops the run with light box counts. So it has been a very much so stylistic clash that Tennessee has not been able to win over the last several years. You should still feel confident about that, particularly because of this reason right here. I think Georgia felt really good about the outcome of that football game last year. Granted, it's on the road this year, but I think you're better in 2 pivotal areas on the defensive side of the football. You're better at defensive line and you're better at corner than you were when you played this football team, in my opinion, a year ago. You are. You're just better. 52 is better than he was a year ago, and he's better than Nazir Stackhouse, and he's better than Warren Brinson. Warren, I'm sorry. It's just the facts, okay? I think, Xavier McLeod has played really, really good football, and I think Elijah Griffin has an opportunity to really flip this game on its head, because being a 3-tech that can get home early and often is really, really important in a wide choice offense like this one right here. I also think you have somewhat of a mental advantage in this football game. The fan base seems to have that. Now, I don't know much about being on the field in Neyland Stadium because I was in the box the last time we went to this game. It was the most raucous environment I'd ever been in illegally for the first 6 minutes of the ball game. I wasn't down there. I was told it was really, really loud when Jalen Wright scored. I was just told. I wasn't down there. But anyways, if that game's 17-7 after an opening score and Georgia walks it down the field and it's 17-7 with 6 minutes left in the second quarter, is it still going to be loud? Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I was in the box. Who was with me last year? Was it loud?
It was loud.
Midway through the third quarter when it was a 3-score game, was it loud?
No, it was not loud then.
Okay.
And that's what I talked about. Like, Georgia has never been in a close game in the second half in Neyland.
It's been a long time since there's been a fourth-quarter fight in that football game. I think we're getting one this weekend, by the way.
You lost the last one.
Yeah.
It's 2015.
I think you're getting one this weekend. So that'll be interesting to see how that happens. Also, you should feel confident that the world's doubting you. You should feel confident if you're a Georgia fan that nobody believes in you, even if you don't believe in you. Because that's, even if it's fake fuel, shout out to H2O, real fuel, real hydration, real impact. Even if it's fake fuel, he just needs a little bit. He just needs a little bit to motivate his football team.
I mean, the more and more takes that I see on this football game, I think I kind of understand
It's H2O, by the way. H2O, okay? Let's just go ahead and give it. Every bottle helps bring clean water and impact better health to someone who needs it. Scan to follow your drops journey, the lives it reaches, the ripples it creates, and the real change it makes. Your purchase, your impact. H2all.com.
Yeah, and I think that
H2all.com.
Next segment.
I don't think Jay will appreciate you interrupting.
My bad, Jay Will. What you got?
No, you're fine. The more and more takes that I've seen this week about Georgia and Tennessee, I think that like some of them are coming from people that just aren't educated. Like, for instance, I don't know who it was, but I saw someone on a TV set say that they think that Georgia's defense this year is worse than they were last year. And that just tells me that you haven't watched them. Like you saw on Georgia's schedule, oh, they play Marshall and Austin Peay. I'll wait to watch Georgia until this week, until the Tennessee week. Like, that just tells me like you're not very educated. You've watched Tennessee and you're like, oh, they got a great offense. Georgia lost a bunch of guys in the NFL. Obviously, they're worse on defense than they were last year. So I don't know that everything that has been said about this football game is coming from a source that is like very educated on the subject. And now we don't know a whole lot about either of these teams just yet, but based on what you've seen, I think two conclusions that you can come to is that yes, Tennessee's offense is better than they were last year. Georgia's defense also looks better than they were last year.
Yeah, fun fact, this is the earliest these two teams have played since 1995. So, I mean, this is like it's a rare occurrence for us. It's the first time they've played in the month of September since 2018. So it's one of the first times we come into this game not at least knowing a little bit about these teams. I mean, they both played two very, very lesser than opponents, so we don't really know what to expect.
All right, guys, there's a plethora of individual matchups in this football game that I think will ultimately define the outcome. Starting with the matchup in the slot, or there's not really a slot at Tennessee, but they're condensing a whole hell of a lot more, which is going to put Mike Matthews on Jonell Aguero quite often, I think, in this football game. I think if they think they have a mismatch on anybody, it's not Brazel on either of these corners. It's not even Mike on either one of these corners. I think they get a matchup sometime in this football game, an explosive attempt on Jonell Aguero against Mike Matthews. I think it's going to be a keynote in this football game.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we'll see, the entire offseason when, hey, Jonell Aguero has really developed in the passing game as a defender, being able to turn and run. We're going to see if that's the case here because Mike Matthews out of the slot is a scary sight.
I think that Georgia's offensive line against Arian Carter, really the interior guys, like you have to know, and you can't take your eyes off of him if you think he's dropping. Like we saw it on film, how they did a coffee house stunt with him. You got to keep your eyes on him and know exactly where he is at all times because he's a very impactful football player.
And they're gonna send him quite often, which is also why he's on here for an individual matchup standpoint from, hey, pass protection, when backs pick him up, linebackers versus running backs. Like, we're going to talk about this when we go into the actual breakdowns here in a second. But Arian Carter is one of the best, if not the best linebackers on this football field this week.
Yeah.
And if he gets matched up running down the pipe against Cash Jones in a pass protection standpoint, Cash, I'm allowing you to cut, by the way, in that one. That's a big man. I wouldn't be trying to face up on that one. But anyways, it's a serious matchup. Not only that, they play so much man-to-man coverage. Are you going to be able to keep those eye discipline correct and not get slipped out of the backfield by these running backs from Georgia? Also, Chris Brazel outside, big-bodied target. He's going to get the ball thrown to him in the air down the field. Can you play that comfortably at corner? That's a massive matchup this week, as it always is in this game.
Yeah, that dude's 6'5", 200, or at least is listed as that.
And long-limbed, too. Yeah. He's not like a broad dude. He's long-limbed.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting matchup there. The edge rushers, man, both these football games, I think there's two really, really good ones, okay? Two pass rush specialists. Anthony Joseph's going to play every down. Chris Cole's going to be a selective pass rusher. But those matchups against these tackles in this football game, I think could have a major outcome or major impact on the outcome of the game.
Yeah, definitely. And again, being able to hinder the launch point and get on someone's feet is what stops deep balls from being effective. I think that's what Georgia did the best job of doing against Joe Milton Milton and Hendon Hooker in 2022. Didn't necessarily have to do it against Nico, although when they did want to take shots, they were in trouble with that. So if Georgia can make Joey Aguilar uncomfortable in the passing game, you might not need to cover as well necessarily, because again, if the balls aren't accurate, it doesn't matter where the coverage is. That said, cover them.
How about some of them pass rush reps we've seen through 2 weeks from Chris Cole?
Ooh, look very good.
I think the most important thing, I used to think it was hand fighting. Hand fighting is really, really important. Avoiding blocks as a pass rusher is really, really important. But if you don't waste steps, if every step you take is gaining ground towards the quarterback, you're going to be a great pass rusher.
Right.
And it's a certain athleticism, right? The more and more I watch film, not every athlete has the ability to avoid false steps. Not every athlete has the ability to make sure every step is maximizing my ground gained. Okay. He is doing that already, really, as like a first year rusher. Like, they didn't rush this kid last year as a true freshman. This is stuff he figured out this offseason. It's really, really terrifying for a young, football player to be that talented at something that's not a natural gift for him. This kid was playing a corner and playing wide receiver and playing linebacker in high school. That's why he had such good coverage ability last year as a true freshman. And now all of a sudden he's out here bending edges like that. Crazy.
Yeah. I think another one is just KJ Bolden against Tennessee's offense.
Yeah, decision-making, dude's important at that position this week.
Very crucial week for him because you're the safety valve, and if you commit to the run and our safety valve is no longer there in the secondary and we're just leaving everybody on an island, as good as Georgia's corners are, at least we believe Georgia's corners are, that's still not a situation that you want to be in.
It's so important for those safeties to have such good instinctual awareness of like, hey, is this a rundown? Is this a pass down? Because what you're talking about, that closing speed, because they're going to be playing deep. They normally do against this offense. When you're playing that deep and you're worried about deep explosives, but we see and key to run, how quickly we make that decision and we see run and we're right and we're able to close ground and make a tackle. That's the difference between 2nd and 7 and 2nd and 4. All right. And the difference against this offense between 2nd and 7 and 2nd and 4, 2nd and 4, the ball's getting put in the air 45 yards downfield and we might have an explosive on us. 2nd and 7, they're trying to get into a third and manageable. And those are two totally different offensive styles. What else I got here? 52 and 90. Okay, Kristen Miller and Elijah Griffin. We talked about Chris Cole getting home quickly. How about this guy? These two interior defensive linemen being able to push the pocket immediately, create some uneasy. A sense of unease for the quarterback. Uncomfortability.
There you go.
And I think that kind of goes into what I was mentioning earlier about Georgia's defensive line, how I feel like they're more explosive than they were last year. Like, go back to that 2022 matchup. Georgia's defensive line was very explosive in that game. Like, Terry Mingo-Dawkins had some big plays in that game. Jalen Carter obviously had the one in the end zone that probably should have been a safety, but wasn't ruled one. Like, Georgia's defensive line was causing havoc the entire time. I think that Georgia has the guys to kind of replicate that a little bit. Maybe not to that level, because there's a ton of first rounders on that defensive line, but there's an opportunity, I think, to where you could certainly have you could get back to that of where life is like the pocket closes so quickly on Joey Aguilar.
Yeah, and I think this is a type of situation where you don't even need to necessarily make the sack, make the play. Just make havoc back there. If you live in the backfield and you're constantly at Joey Aguilar's feet and he has to make off-platform throws and he has to do things like that he hasn't had to do in 2 games. Let's be honest, he's looked fairly clean back there. He's going to make a mistake. We saw last year, he puts the ball in danger's way certain times. That's just the statistics show that. If you can get him off platform and get him uncomfortable and get him to play out of time, that starts with the interior D-line. So get a good push. You might get some turnovers from him.
How about the individual chess matchup between Mike Bobo and Tim Banks?
Very fascinating.
I mean, Bobo has kind of boxed him up pretty good the last 2 times.
He has created
I think some of the critical moments in the red zone early in the football game last year, Carson Beck has a great throw to Oscar Delp, but that's a great call against split safety coverage that they were running. Also, the dusting off of quarterback run for the first time in 2 years in the midst of that football game. There's some real offensive things that Mike has done in these last 2 matchups. I mean, the Dillon Bell game happens because of what the coordinator is doing and hiding the 86 in that football game.
Yep.
That's an important matchup this weekend. Drew Bobo versus crowd noise. I don't know if y'all noticed, but Kirby was talking about Drew has basically all of the calls, all the protections, all the run schemes. So him getting on the ball and handling all that stuff early is very, very important in this football game. Also, first time, long time. First time, long time. A center's been handling.
Wasn't said the main guy in 23?
Maybe the last year. But I find it hard to believe that Stetson was letting the last year he was there as a 26-year-old redshirt senior. I have a hard time believing that he's just letting free reign at the center position.
No, I'm thinking
take everything off my shoulders.
I'm thinking of 2023. Carson's first year, Sed's last year. That's
maybe.
That's the time I think because Sed was the bona fide leader of that on the offense in general.
Either way, it's been a while.
It's been a minute.
It's been a long time since the center's been handling protections.
Would you view that as beneficial or like, ooh, I don't know if I like this?
For a road start, as long as the quarterback's seeing what the center's seeing, it's as simple as a point. I don't have to hear him. The five around me have to hear him because the tackle can't see where the center's pointing because he's looking at the defensive end in front of him. Mm-hmm. So we got to be able to hear. We got to pass that down the line of scrimmage. But from a quarterback standpoint, especially with the way they run, there's only two backers in the box. It's either that guy that we're calling and we're taking, or it's that guy, and you got everybody in space. You're playing hot off them. Mm-hmm. So, but simulated pressures on the road could get a little tough. They do walk 5 up, walk 6 up. They'll do it to you on third down. But that's football in general. We got to avoid 3rd and 9, which is period, point blank, everywhere we go, especially on the road. I think another key to this football game for Georgia, individual matchups that will depend or, ultimately impact the outcome is Dwight Phillips against the +1 defender. If Dwight Phillips makes a safety miss on Saturday, he is taking it to the house.
Mm-hmm. Or we
just got to get him there.
At the minimum, it's an explosive.
Just got to get him there. Little nut gonna bust a big run on Saturday.
Was that the reason? Was that the whole reason why you had that match?
No. I'm not clip farming. I'm not doing anything like that. I would never. I would never. Ever. Player props?
Let's do it.
I like this.
Let
me get it pulled up real quick.
All right, you get that pulled up. I'm going to get this pulled up over here. As you guys have noticed this year, we have a fine partner over there at Sleeper.com. Promo code Brooks, get you 100% deposit match up to $100. What we're going to do today is we're going to go through this football game over on Sleeper, and I'm going to show you exactly... Oh, I'm not connected to Wi-Fi right now. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this over on Sleeper. This is nice and easy for these guys. All right, so here we go. We're going to share my screen right quick, and we're going to go through each of these tonight, guys, and try to provide some type of value here for the viewer today, okay? So let's get over to Sleeper. Jonathan, I've got it pulled up already. All right, the app is loading. I got a fresh new deposit over there today. Hey, how about getting to use your own promo code, boys?
Got to be a weird
How's that feel? How's that feel? Your own personalized promo code on an app that you're 0 for 3 in right now. That's, you know what? Hey, we're going to shake back today. Let's go over to this UGA and Tennessee matchup right here. Let's get to talking. Gunner Stockton, guys, in a discount right about now, 205.5. What do we think about old Gunner at 205.5?
For passing yards?
For passing yards. No, rush it. Come on, man.
Total yards?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, you're right. Passing yards. You. My bad.
I don't really know how much Georgia's going to want Gunner Stockton to throw the ball here. We've talked about the philosophy for Georgia has been run the ball down your throat and then use that to set up passes. I think I could see Gunner Stockton getting 10 carries in this game just because of that's what they're going to want to do on offense. I would lean the under on this, honestly. If he throws under 205 yards passing, they won the game running the football and playing defense. Definitely. Yeah. And I think that's what Georgia wants to do this season. How about Joey Aguilar, total passing touchdowns, 1.5? That's a lot in this matchup. Passing yards. Passing touchdowns, 1.5. That's a high one. It is really high. I'd say under. Or less. All right, so I'm taking the more on Gunner. 205, I think he's 210 easy. I'm going to go less on Joey Aguilar. We're going to play the full slate today. Who gives a damn? Combinations are blocked, but the 41.5 for Zachariah Branch looks a little tasty. Not going to lie to you. That's receiving yards. Deshaun Bishop, 41.5 rushing yards, boys. They 2 platoon now.
Stark Thomas has kind of been their leading guy.
They platoon.
They two
honestly.
platoon, and it's harder on the ball in Georgia. I'm going to go under on that.
I like that. Let's take the less on that one as well. Nate Frazier, anytime touchdowns, half. So if he gets in the box,
he's been your go-to.
He is
guy.
your red zone runner.
He's been your go-to guy in the red zone. Him and Chauncey have been.
Let's go over on that. Chris Brazzell, 45.5. Guys, this is one catch for them.
That's an over, I think.
You think so? What do you think, Jonathan? Chris Brazzell, 45.5.
I think that's a good one to go more than.
Let's take the over there. All right, that blocks us out on some of these wide receivers, so that makes this segment a little bit easier and this parlay a little bit easier. I'm staying away from Oscar Delp touchdowns. They're so hit or miss on tight ends, even though he did have a banger in this football game.
He had 2 of them last year.
He had 2 touchdowns last year. Tight end leak, right?
Yeah.
Off truck toss. Right in front of me. I remember that. Mike Matthews, 37.5. I'm staying away from Mike.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from Mike.
Too volatile.
Staying away from Dylan Bell.
Yeah.
Staying away from Dylan Bell. Peyton Lewis, can't bet on him. London Humphreys, staying away from half touchdown. Noah Thomas, let's stay away. Let's stay away from Noah Thomas, boys.
What about Colby Young lines?
I don't see Colby Young on here.
There was a Colby.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Colby Young. It looks like 34.5.
See, I think that one's more.
We've already played the Q. It's not letting.
I know, but I think that's a good more right there because you want to talk about one pass. That could be easily 2 passes for Colby Young.
Not playing the Lawson Lucky touchdowns. I wish I could take the under on that Josh McCray half a touchdown. You go ahead and take that one if you can. It's not letting me. It's only letting me play Moores there. I ain't playing no more on Josh McCray touchdowns, not until October or an injury, one or the other. Hey, let's go ahead and lock this pick in. I think it's going to let me here. Can't submit, maximum amount, $10. Let's go ahead and play $10. Here we go. Bang. Shout out to our friends over at Sleeper, the #1 place for daily fantasy and player props. Okay, head over there, use promo code Brooks. You get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, that's promo code Brooks, sleeper.com/promo/Brooks. Thanks to those folks over at Sleeper. Brooks just chalked. No duh.
Bro.
I mean, chalk's got to be 50-50.
That's what you're supposed to do in that type of industry.
What If Wednesday, boys? It's a fine Wednesday evening. You want to do some localized What If Wednesday, or do y'all want to go do these?
I want to do these.
All right, let's do these. Let me put my mic on. Y'all do some hemming and hawing right quick.
Yeah. No, I do think that this will be an interesting breakdown just to see what positions have the advantage against the opposition, because like we've said, it's not who has the better running backs that's going to win, who's got the better quarterback. It's how does this team's quarterback match up against? And by the way, we're doing Georgia's offense versus Tennessee's defense.
And I think it's important to mention why we started this segment, because a lot of times on social media, what you'll see is Georgia O-line, Tennessee O-line, Georgia O-line has the edge. It makes no sense because Georgia offensive line is not going against Tennessee's offensive line. They're going against Tennessee's defensive line and Georgia's defensive line. So
why not just slap the rosters up there and go, we like this roster over this roster?
Right?
That's not how football is played, guys. They're individual matchups, right? Unit-based matchups. So that's how we choose to do our breakdowns over here, all right? So let's go through it right now. I'm going to tell you what. I've been watching a ton of film on this Georgia offensive line. I think they have an advantage this weekend against a pretty, I'm not going to say really, they're really, really good, but I think Tennessee lacks depth. I think once those starters go out and younger football players start to come in, I think that Georgia offensive line might have a chance to lean on that unit over there from Tennessee. Now,
what about starters versus starters? Like first quarter of the game, who's got the advantage here?
I still like what I've seen on tape from Georgia's offensive line. I have. And I've seen, that Tennessee defense get gashed every once in a while, allowing some breakers, all right? And we saw on tape with some stacking of alignment. You stack alignment against Chauncey Bowens this weekend, you're going to get ripped for 12. You're going to get ripped for 15. There's no doubt about that. All right, running backs versus linebackers. I think I already told you. Now, I love C.J. Allen. I love Raylan Wilson. I love Chris Cole. I think the best linebacker for my money in this football game, one start alone, is Arian Carter, all right? That leaves Tennessee right here in an advantage for me. I can just see it right now, guys. 3rd and 9, Saturday afternoon. You got a blitz down A gap, and Cash Jones got to step up and meet number 7. I don't like how that's going to. I know Cash is tough. Cash is tough to sell. He's going to stand in there and get everything he's got. But Aaron Carter, I think, is a special football player, boys.
So what about in the box with the run game? Obviously, Aaron Carter is a very, very good linebacker in that regard.
Yeah.
Do you like him against, filling up against a Nate Frazier or a Chauncey Bowens?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, T-Lander, not so much. Okay. I think they got a 1 and a 2 where y'all got 1A, B, and 1B, and 1C, and 1D. Like, I think your 4 linebackers are really, really elite. I think they got one special one and a couple of really, really play ones. I don't dislike number 13. I don't know his name. I think his tape's pretty damn good as well. They're good. I think you're better.
What about, since Tennessee's going to run a lot of man, you getting a pass pro coverage, or you getting a passing situation?
I like your situations there. I think you might check release a lot this week, all right, because of that factor, right? If we got Aaron Carter blitzing down A gap, let's not worry about him. Let's flare the back, get it out right now. That might be his responsibility. I think you could get into some of that. I was asked earlier in the year, what do I think about Nate Frazier's pass protection? I'm like, what are you talking about? How many reps has he actually had to step up and pass? They don't do that very much anymore. All right, they check release backs against man football teams because they're just trying to peel the linebacker out of the box that's responsible for him. We'll take the 5, right? The 4 down and the 1 linebacker we're responsible for. We'll make the backer that the running back's responsible for have responsibilities in coverage. It's nice and simple that way against man-to-man football teams. Wide receivers versus DBs, guys. Young talented unit from Tennessee. But I think this is the easiest one on the board for me today. I really like Georgia's wide receiver units against this DB core from Tennessee. I've said it all week. I would not make this a man-to-man football game. I would not make this as simple as 14 walking to the line of scrimmage and going, really? They got a true freshman over there on Colby Young. He's playing bump and run. Easy. Slam. Okay, walking the line of scrimmage and say, oh, looky there. They got, whoever it is, the backup nickel in there because we're still punishing Boo Carter. Oh, here comes a whip release or, whatever from Zachariah Branch. I would not make it that easy on the quarterback. I think they've got an advantage out there at wide receiver. Now, I've got this category right here, tight end versus all. This is not tight end versus linebacker. This is not tight end versus defensive end because that's not how football is played. Okay, tight ends this weekend are going to have matchups from Georgia against in-man on the line of scrimmage defensive ends, right? They're going to split zone block in man on line of scrimmage. They're going, hey, linebacker's in the box. We got to get up to him and block him in the run game, right? Hey, we got a swing release out here. We got a running back screen or a swing screen out here. We need our two tight ends to go out there and block smalls in space, right? So the tight end position is matched up against a variety of football players every single Saturday, especially this one, okay? In man-to-man coverage, can you beat a safety? The next rep, I might need you to block down on a defensive end. Okay, your responsibilities at the tight end position are very varied. That's why it says tight end versus all. I think Georgia has an advantage in this category for one reason, boys. I discipline off play action. I have seen Tennessee linebackers, because they're an aggressive unit, get a little bit too far downhill. Give me Georgia in the tight end versus all category. Also like the way Lawson Lucky and Oscar Delp have been blocking in space early to start the year. Hey, a little insider intel here for you. Guess who got a game ball last week offensively without a catch? Oscar Delp. Oscar Delp's blocking his ass off, and this channel noticed it. This channel talked about it. This channel's a big fan of Oscar Delp. I think Oscar Delp might be a damn captain this weekend at Tennessee. That's what I'm talking about, Oscar Delp. Hell yeah, number 4, quarterback versus all. Hey, I hate to do it to you Georgia fans watching today, but Tennessee's got a pretty stern advantage versus everything, right? How your quarterback's playing, the confidence level he's got, first career road start. We all think Carson Beck's a damn good quarterback from within the pocket. He looked bamboozled on the road for the first time against Auburn 2 years ago. We all saw it. All right. Opportunity for it maybe to happen this week as well. And it's okay if it does. You've got good enough people around that quarterback to help him out. Now, we added this one late, and we've talked about this one already. Georgia's got the advantage right now in the coordinator department. And I know Georgia fans hate Mike Bobo, but Tennessee fans are scared to death of him. They're scared to death of him because he has worked Tim Banks over the last couple of years as the offensive coordinator. Any debates, comments?
No, I mean, I think if you're a Georgia fan looking at this, there's a lot of positivity there because it seems to play the advantages into Georgia. I do wonder if at all the Tennessee defensive backs can create some havoc for Georgia DBs. Or
they're gonna mess with timing, no doubt. Like, this will be the first football team that's gotten in your face if they indeed do that. I have said all week, I'm not doing that. I am not playing man-to-man coverage and blitzing the hell out of this quarterback. It makes it too easy. It makes it, oh my God, where's my dude? It makes it dude football. Don't make it dude football. Make it read through the progression football. That's what he struggled with. He looked good against Notre Dame. I would not make this dude football.
I think that it's fair for like Georgia should have the advantage in all those positions that they do because you've invested in offensive line. Like you made sure that you got Monroe Freeling, Juan Gaston, and all those guys on the offensive line. You dang made sure to improve your wide receiver room this offseason, whether it be on the recruiting trail or in the transfer portal. And then also in tight ends like Todd Hartley, they always invest in tight ends. So those are the positions that you should almost always have an advantage over anybody.
I do wonder, in pass pro, does Georgia still have the offensive line advantage?
Ooh, that's a good point. Conventional pass pro, yes. I'm worried about the green dog in this week. You know, that late addition in the play action pass, it's a little bit different when the Ball State or the Austin P linebacker wearing number 4 that's built like a fire hydrant running through there versus Arian Carter. It's a total different animal. So yeah, I'm with you. It's been a concern, you know, through 2 weeks.
So maybe
the play action pass. The conventional pass pro curve's been good. The conventional pass pro, hey, we're in a 3-step drop. Like, they've been clean pockets. Most of the pressures that they have faced this early on through 2 games has been off of play action.
That's what I was going to say. The play action pass pro has not been wonderful.
It's even more concerning because that's where your explosives want to come from this year. Like, you want to be a play action, deep passing football team. You don't want to be a 3-step, 4 verts football team. That's not what you want to do. That's what you've been in years prior, but not anymore. I love doing it that way because I think we're the only show on the internet that does it that way, and I think everybody else does it in the dumbest way possible because offensive linemen out here ain't blocking offensive linemen.
No, they're
goof.
Big facts.
Big facts. Hey, what do we got left?
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, baby.
Wednesday. Talk to me for some What If Wednesday. Guys, what if Elijah Griffin explodes this weekend?
Ooh, I would say Tennessee probably has a pretty hard time throwing the football.
Yeah, if you're talking about Elijah Griffin exploding this weekend, then that means that he dominated, like took over the football game.
Save yours for last.
Okay.
The alley-oop. Save it for last. What do you got for me, J. Will?
I don't know why that one's on there. I don't remember writing that one.
Interesting.
I'll go with this one.
Do it anyway.
Ghostwrite Jonathan?
I have on here, what if Georgia's running backs and O-line are good enough for them to carry you to the playoffs? I don't remember writing that one, but here you go. I feel like we've already talked about
Let's
that.
ignore that what if. What do you got for me?
That's a horrible what if.
It's a horrible what if.
I agree.
An awful what if. That ghostwriter AI. Of course, he's skipping
I fired
work.
him.
He's skipping work.
I
didn't know robots had other appointments.
They evolve. They learn.
Dude.
They're ambient? Is that what you're telling me?
They might be.
Shit, we're in trouble.
All right, what if this is a 1-score game in the fourth quarter? And I know we've kind of toyed with that notion a little bit, but what if
I'm going to have the
there?
Goosies.
That's what I'm saying. Like, doesn't
I'm going to have the damn Goosies.
That plays into Tennessee's advantage, does it not?
Oh, man. Titanic plates, baby. Ambient. What does ambient mean? Sentient apparently means they have thoughts. Somebody Google some ambient for me. Isn't that a sleeping pill?
I think that's ambient.
Immediate surroundings of something.
I've been using that word completely improperly my entire life.
Bro was writing essays throwing ambient in there, and it wouldn't even make it sense.
Bro, ain't no way I was going to get caught for AI in college. They're like, nah, he just dumb.
There's no way he could have cheated.
But yeah, I mean, a hyped up Neyland Stadium in the fourth quarter, yeah, that certainly plays into Tennessee's advantage. Anytime you can have the crowd noise like amped up late in a football game, it's always going to factor into a football game. What if neither offense can move the ball? Like, what if this game is 17-10, Georgia wins? It's like, are Georgia fans walking away with this one still pissed off about the offense?
Yes. Georgia fans are pissed off if they don't score 40 points or if they don't win by 20. And that's the unfortunate reality that you live in as a Georgia fan.
I don't know, dude. If it's a 20-0 absolute just choking in Neyland.
Okay,
in Neyland,
yes.
they'll take that.
They'll take that.
If it's just 56 attempts beat you 20-0, Georgia will accept that. But that's it. That's the only 20-6 is a moan fest from the fan base.
But even at
I've seen it.
But even at that case, it's like, oh man, we're going to need to throw the ball, and I don't think Gunner can do it because we just ran the ball 56 times. Clearly, they don't believe in him. We need to Steve Pugga. They find ways. Don't worry.
What if we get Rabin Gap Gunner?
Ooh. He might not play 4 quarters.
Excuse me, Rabin.
Yeah,
What if we get Rabin County Gunner?
Dude, some of his high school highlights have been popping up on my timeline every now and then.
Yeah. You see
I need him to grow the hair back out.
The defender.
I need him to get the lettuce back.
Did he cut the mustache?
I don't know. But I need the hair growing back
He
out.
definitely cut the mustache.
There was a different attitude with Gunner when he had
have
the
a
hair
mustache
grown
this
out.
week. I thought we had a mustache week 1.
Those days are gone, J-Will.
Yeah, you're probably right. Probably right.
But no, if he's playing like he did in high school, I worry that he's finishing the game. I'm being serious.
Man, you just think Gunner's a wimp.
No, dude. I think Gunner's
6'1", 205 pounds. It has nothing to do with you being a wimp.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with the fact that you're not built like Cam Newton. And to play like that, you kind of have to be built like Cam Newton.
Yeah, and even Cam Newton.
Or Riley Leonard, apparently.
I guess, dude.
You know?
But I mean, it felt like there were times, like the first drive of the national championship, they were just hoisting up Riley Leonard's lifeless body under center. Like, here you go, buddy.
You got it, kid.
Just hold on to the football.
Our QB sneaks are now QB drags.
Don't worry. We got ice.
Yeah, for real, dude. Like, insanity. What if Joey Aguilar is accurate with his deep balls and nothing else? Doesn't hit slants, isn't accurate on screens. He can only hit the 30 to 40 yard bombs.
How many?
They attempt 8.
And he hits.
He's accurate on all of them. So
you better be denying the ball or you're losing the football game.
Yeah, you better be completely in phase.
Honest to God, you lose 5 of those, you might lose the game.
Yeah,
they have changed the math on this explosively.
Yeah, the only way that you would still win that game is if you make, like, if it is 5 of them, 4 out of 5 are field goals.
It really is like playing the first basketball team that figured out, oh, let's just shoot 75 threes today. If we shoot 35%, we'll win the basketball game.
Yeah.
It's the same type. Like, most football teams are predicated off of take a shot a quarter. That's basically what they do. You know, they're not out here taking 8 a game like Tennessee is.
What if Tennessee deploys Boo Carter on offense in this game?
That's kind of scary.
Jonathan, now they've bunched a lot more, so there might be an opportunity for some jet sweeps and stuff like that, but I've been told he fights the football. Like, you think Mike Matthews drops it. This dude can't catch it. This dude can only catch it when he's staring at it and it's in the air and he's in zone coverage. You know?
Yeah.
Like, look at all of his interceptions last year. Are any of them, I turned my head around and found the football at corner?
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not.
I've just been seeing some Tennessee fans thinking like, oh, this is the week. Hadn't shown it yet.
I also might have some inside intel on that one. So
all you need to hear.
Which I'm surprised that Tennessee beat reporters don't have that. Because I've got that. We tried, it didn't work, even before he got into some team trouble.
Gotcha.
You get into some team trouble, you missing camp, you definitely ain't playing both ways. But you can't catch the football. You definitely ain't playing both ways.
Be playing on offense.
You can't be playing no offense.
Probably not.
So there's that. I'm out of what ifs.
What if Georgia rushes for 200 yards in this game? That's the only stat line I give you.
That's it?
Is that enough to win?
That means you got to throw.
Can you tell me how many turnovers they had?
Let's say they have 1 turnover.
Fourth quarter football game. That's all I can tell you.
I think that means Gunner's got to at least throw for 225.
I don't think that tells me
around that.
anything about that. They could rush for 200 and he go 12 for 20 and throw for 185 yards. It tells me nothing about what he does. Hell, they rushed for 300 yards the last 2 games. Just told me nothing about what he's going to do. Well, everything about what he's going to do is whether or not he pulls the trigger.
Right.
That's it.
Jay, well, do you have any others?
I have one more.
Go ahead.
What if Gunner throws for 200 yards, but he also rushes for 50?
Ooh.
Dub.
You win that game.
Yeah.
Assuming that the running offense as a whole is...
And all 50 of those yards are going to be on critical downs.
Right.
That's the thing about Gunner running this year.
And by the way,
I don't think he ever turns in a game like Jackson Arnold the first week of the season. 18 for 170 or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
It would never look like that.
And that implies that Gunner's getting some explosives because he's not if he gets
which are like 25 yarders for him. I don't see a 50 yarder.
I would say even like a 15 yarder.
Yeah, that is Gunner. By the way, like I don't think there's gonna be any 30-yard rippers out of this kid.
It's damn. He made it past the second. He made it past the first.
He made a guy miss and then got ran down by an angle from the safety who saw him scrambling. That's what it is.
Yeah. All right. What if we get into Saturday and Georgia looks the exact same on offense? Gunner Stockton's still hesitant to throw it. Maybe he's checking it down more so than ever. Isn't pushing the ball down the field. Doesn't look comfortable throwing the deep shots.
And they win?
What if that's what happens? What if that is the quarterback that you get on Saturday?
Then they're reliant on running the ball and playing defense. And I'm telling you right now, if they go into Neyland Stadium this weekend against this offense from Tennessee and they run the ball and play defense to a 27-20 win or a 24-17 win, I'm going to be coming in here on Sunday talking about this being a national championship caliber football team. That's what I'm going to be doing. Because if they have the ability to go run the ball against what I think is a top 10 defensive unit from Tennessee and just play defense on their way to winning in the third game of the year, first road start of Gunner Stockton's career, they have the ability to win a national title. Because Notre Dame had the ability to win a national title last year, playing run the ball defense, out execute the opponent, and we're 2 possessions away from beating what we thought was a juggernaut. So that's what I'll be talking about on Sunday if that is indeed the case.
So you don't think that there's going to be grunts and groans of like, man, Gunner's not it?
I don't give a damn. If this is a playoff like type of football game in terms of the level of difficulty to win. Historically speaking, first road SEC games for any football team, really, really hard to do. Really, really hard to do. Okay, so if the quarterback goes out there and look hesitant, doesn't look confident, y'all have no vertical passing game, y'all have no ability to flip the field with explosives through the pass, and y'all get out with a win, I don't know who you're not going to be able to do that to. Especially the rest of the games this year are at home, big boys. At home. So, yeah, you are a national title contending football team if you get out of there with a quarterback still very limited. But, god dang, look at these lines of scrimmage from Georgia.
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
I think there is an avenue to where you do kind of 2017 your way back
For sure.
to this. And I think that's what Georgia wants to take. Like, people, I think, fell in love so much with what the 2022 offense was, and even in 2021 at some points, to where it's like, we got to have a game-rent quarterback. We got to have a guy who can push the ball out. We got to have Stetson Bennett back there. We got to have someone. I think people forget that, yes, Jake Fromm was an accurate passer outside of the numbers. He was extremely limited in times, and it did help that you had 2 of college football's greatest running backs in history to hand the ball off to. But Georgia's MO in 2017 was very much, hey, we're going to run the ball. If we need to throw the ball, we have a decent enough quarterback to do so, and you're not going to score points on our defense. And that was entirely what they did throughout their 15-game schedule.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us tonight here on the network. We'll be back tomorrow, obviously, for last show, best show. I want to end tonight with this. I was listening to the news like most people were today when the news hit today about Charlie Kirk. Again, rest in peace, prayers to his family. I thought the news anchor said it best. Call somebody that you have had a vehement disagreement with as of late and just tell them that you love them. Do that. All right, whoever it is, whether it be a family member, whether it be somebody across the aisle, whatever it is, somebody, whoever you have argued with recently, give them a phone call and figure out how to amicably disagree. Because I think we need to learn how to do that again in this world. Love you. Bye.